You've got the look in your eyes. You're on the mission, burning ambition. You've got your eyes on the prize. You've gotta rise to the challenge. Show 'em what you got. Step up and take what's yours. You are kings now, Clash of Titans.
Hey everyone, this is Anthony with Tornado Tag Podcast. I literally just started and I realized I need a beer.
Oh. Do you want a Lord Chesterfield?
You just put your headphones in. Yeah, you're the best.
Don't worry, you can't see it.
I brought help today.
We'll CGI you out later.
Yeah, you literally
Very
can't
bottom
see it.
shelf to the left.
Why are you bringing the
Past
help?
my shoulder, there's nothing.
Thank you so
Are you
much.
too lazy to get up and get your own drinks? You gotta bring your old lady?
Thank you.
Listen.
All right, so anyway,
Why not?
we are...
Honestly, I didn't even see her over there. She must have been behind the light.
Yeah, she's hiding.
That's where she's choosing to sit.
So yeah, we're here. That was a horrible intro, but hey everyone, Tornado Tag Podcast. Here we're gonna have a lot to cover. We got Takeover, we got AEW, we got Raw, SmackDown a little bit, some news. But before we get into all that, if you are obviously also go check out the intro music. No Rain Checks, awesome guys there. Their new album is coming out soon, and they have one of their new songs on Spotify. So go check that out. Also, our merch page is up, so go check that out. I just went on. I deleted everything from the stores because I went back through and I adjusted all the prices.
I'll say, you just busted your ass doing that.
I know.
You're gonna go back in and redo it.
I did. I had everything up, and I was like, man, it looks really good. And I was like, why are the prices so fucking high? And I went and I
What,
adjusted.
didn't you price them at what we would generally sell the shirts for?
No. I just went with the website put.
Oh, so
I didn't know I was able to adjust price. Like, they wanted like $52 for a pair of leggings.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus Christ.
Look at her face, right?
I can't see her face. She's behind the light.
I put them down to $35 for a pair of leggings.
Oh, I might buy a pair
And
now.
I think I make like $4.
They better be fucking LuLaRoe, because I don't think any chick in their right mind is gonna pay $35 for a pair.
I already have a few people that want to buy.
Besides Cassie and
Interviews-
Lindsay.
No, Steve's girl is going to buy a pair, so from Not Cool in high school. So there's people who want to buy them. So I think 35 is more realistic, especially if you know it's supporting something.
Are the shirts still 20 to 25?
Yeah, so it's 20 and then 23 for like a premium tee. Then like so it goes depending on what shirt you want. I'm actually wearing one of them now. This
Can we
is
still
this
get
is
sleeveless?
this is called the. You can cut the sleeves off
Oh.
or buy a tank
See,
top.
I hate cutting the sleeves off because then after you wash it a few times, then the sleeves start going to shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, cut them and then fold it and then sew it. Make your own. Anyway,
You're lucky I know how to sew.
I'm wearing the. It's called the all over shirt. I
It's
think this-
all over you.
It's like it's really comfortable.
I wonder what's all over. Usually all over is like the print that's all
You
over.
can.
Yeah.
You literally can make it.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay.
Yeah, there's like no boundaries of
Oh,
how
okay.
big you can go.
There should be boundaries.
Yeah, and then I have a long sleeve here too. I'm very happy with the way they came out. I think they're really, really nice.
How much
What's
is
the
a-
long sleeve look like?
I was going to say, how much is a regular shirt?
It's 20.
Okay,
And
that's fair.
is it the same material? Or is it more of a cotton on the long sleeve?
It's a little thicker.
Because I was going to say, if a shirt...
So this is what the long.
If the
sleeve
leggings
looks
were
like.
$57...
No, I bought it in with gray. I wanted I have black shirts all over the place. I needed a gray shirt. So
I'll
like
say
the- I like
around
the
here
charcoal
in
ones.
about the next 3 months, those long sleeves will come in handy.
yeah. Hoodies are still like a regular t-shirt's $20. If you want to get the premium
bad.
or it's called the comfy tee.
Yeah.
It's 23. I think the premium t-shirt is I think the highest it goes is like 35.
Can we do a specialty too where we got Andy Header on the back of your shirt doing like the Steve-O, yeah?
Oh, God.
If you really want to, I can do whatever you want.
I think we need to get him tornado tag leggings to wear in the ring.
Yeah.
They're just like ripped out.
You'd be like AJ with your asshole hanging out.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They would just rip it. Like,
If you,
Only when he wrestles Liger.
instantly, yeah.
so if you don't want to buy merchandise because you hate us,
Yeah.
Fuck you.
yeah, fuck you. No.
We got 2 words for you.
We got 2 words for you. Or if you want to just hit up the PayPal, any of that, literally, it goes and helps us out. It gets new equipment, and we have a lot of cool stuff that we want to do. But obviously, we can't do it until we get some moolah, baby. So we're trying real hard. So go check them out. We have merch stores for every show. And also check out everything in the links below. A lot of cool web pages that you can go check out. And like stuff that we like to go follow on Facebook. Tyler's 2 pages he helps run are on there. Murder My Dude's on there. Andy's podcast is on there. So go support all that stuff and keep supporting other people, because we're doing this to put other people over as well. So the first thing I have on the page here, I believe Brian, you posted this.
I did.
This is the Adrian Street.
Street,
yeah.
documentary.
Exotic Adrian Street.
Like you live on the street. I heard it's short though.
It's like 20 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's called Imagine What I Could Do to You. It's a little documentary they did. It aired right before and right after the UK pay-per-view. Adrian Street he mainly came to be known in like the late 70s, early 80s in the US. He did this very of the time gimmick where he was basically playing gay when gay was still considered bad in the southern US where he wrestled.
Yeah, he's very flamboyant.
Very flamboyant.
He was
So
never-
flamboyant in the southern states back then was
Yeah.
definitely a no-go.
It was almost everywhere, you know, except
And-
New York and LA.
There was a lot of things in the South
Yeah.
that were not a no-go at that point in time.
And the thing that made it like really unique was that once the bell rang, he was just vicious. He was a nightmare. He was a terror.
Down.
Now, let me ask you this.
Just-
30 years ago in the South, when there was still territories, maybe 40 years ago, what would you have done with the Velveteen Dreams character?
I don't think they would have
Him being
used
black and doing that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Black and flamboyant?
Yeah, no way. That wouldn't have worked.
I would have gotten him a lot of security.
White heels were getting trying to get stabbed. Could you imagine
Yeah.
that?
Who was it? Like Ted DiBiase or somebody had to hide in some. No, I think it was Michael Hayes. There was this one angle he did with the Junkyard Dog in New Orleans, and he had to hide in somebody's car. He had to hide in the boot because somebody was going to shoot him.
Yeah, I believe
Jesus.
it.
There was like a credible threat.
I'm glad Tyler didn't talk yet because his mic was muted the whole time.
Oh, really?
I was looking down the board because
that Adrian Street was never in WWE though.
no.
Never
So
know.
it's weird they did that. Made
Yeah.
that a little thing. He used to
and
make
then
gear too for a couple years.
Yeah, he would always have the ads in PWI with
Yeah.
like Skull Crushers or something like
yeah,
that.
he was doing that for years and years.
Yeah, because I think his wife would make it too,
Yeah.
and his wife was in the documentary.
Yeah,
They
well, his
were both
wife
in there.
was whatever her name was. I forget
Miss
her
Linda.
name. Yeah.
She was his manager.
Pretty shitty news we just found out. Dean Malenko is pretty much saying he does have Parkinson's disease. So
Yeah,
that's horrible. I mean, if you don't know who Dean Malenko is, obviously he had huge runs for me, just personally from WCW, and then he had a little bit in WWE, but not too much.
ECW
Yeah.
as well.
ECW.
What did you do? Go on the network and watch Dean Malenko, considering you were like anti-WCW?
Well, I used Dean Malenko when I played the video games. So, like, I may have not watched a lot of WCW, but I played a whole lot of WCW versus NWO.
Now, did you get to meet him when he was up there?
No, I didn't. He was doing the seminar, and then I was there, and he was back and forth, so I didn't really get time.
Yeah.
Wasn't he
My own friend said
the,
his hands were shaking.
the number one ranked wrestler in like 1997?
Yeah,
He was in one of the
It
yeah.
was like Steve Austin's real big. Yeah. Michael gets number one. Like, I don't know. Maybe he was.
Let's be honest.
Oh, he was
Dean
an amazing
Malenko
wrestler.
Ray was
was
the best in the world.
technical wrestling. When
Yeah, he
technical
was.
wrestling was starting to fade out, he made it cool again.
Yeah, that's very true.
And then just the triple threat in ECW was a great stable, and it was Shane Douglas, Dean Malenko, and some guy I can't remember who the other guy was.
Oh yeah, it's like someone like hit us with those memory things from Men in
Yeah.
Black.
Are you sure?
We're not allowed to remember them.
Are you sure triple threat? Not you mean something else? Because
No, it was a triple threat.
Triple
The original
Oh, the
triple
original. I
threat.
was gonna say later.
Not Candido and Bam Bam.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because I remember
Oh.
Bam Bam and Candido.
Oh, that
Yeah.
Canadian guy.
Yeah.
I think his son.
The guy that broke Sabu's neck.
I think his son
that
is
guy,
trying to wrestle.
nobody that won the WrestleMania, running the belt WrestleMania. In that
Yeah,
Friday.
no one won that. So there's two things we could talk about at StarCast. But the first one
That's
is
what another one's announced for the Full Gear pay per view. It's like, come on, don't do
Am I the only one that finds that hilarious?
yeah StarCast, and I like
He's
how he gets
rolling in it,
he
dude.
goes.
Conrad's making a bank.
Yeah, I like how he's like, I will never do another
Yeah, and
StarCast.
it's like on the 5 is coming.
Yeah,
Who said that?
Conrad. He always says he's never doing another one. Someone said that MJF said to a kid in a wheelchair. I guess the kid in the wheelchair was up to MJF to get an autograph and says, "Hey man, how you doing?" And MJF looked him dead in his eyes and said, "Clearly better than you," and stood up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is a
Now,
great.
see, that's where I draw the line at some point from being a professional and being like, I mean,
If you book that,
I know
MJF,
he doesn't break character,
expect that.
but
Then don't get in his line.
I know to an extent, like you have to draw the line between professional and
So if Annie Weiberg is walking around the arena, or you show up at a wrestling thing to see Annie Weiberg, and he looks at you and goes, "Boy, you're fat, and your wife looks like a pig. Are you gonna swing on him?
Probably.
You should, because that's exactly what he wants you to do."
Yeah, but
He's
if we're
doing his
talking a
job.
child in a wheelchair, I just feel like there needs
I
to
don't
be
think it
that
was
boundary.
a child.
No.
I think it was a.
It was not
It
a
said a
child.
Oh.
kid. It's,
Yeah,
I think said
if
kid
it says
in
a
wheelchair.
kid, I describe a kid as a child, a young child, and I do take offense to when dudes do that to young children.
I don't.
I think there needs to be that fine line between gimmick
see an
and
argument for
professional.
both. I
Yeah.
think it's a little much, but I think it's just on the
I
line.
remember I went to a show and these kids were absolutely terrified of Papa Shango, and this was in Monte City.
That's okay.
Terrified of Papa Shango but they were like curious kids, so they're like they wanted to kind of get closer and closer, and he just kept playing it off like he didn't care. And then he just finally stood up and just fucking chased him like he was gonna eat. Yo, those kids had nightmares for months. And then this one dad brought his kid through the line, and the dad's like, "Yo, he's really scared of you." And he goes, he's sitting there holding the kid, and he just goes. Like, so I don't know. Like Kevin Owens got in trouble backstage because a kid was reaching out to high five him, and Kevin Owens went to go high five him and goes, "You're wearing a John Cena shirt? Don't you ever try to clap my hand again. And by the way, go buy a real wrestler shirt like Kevin Owens. Matter of fact, don't buy my shirt because you suck and I hate you."
That's great. That's being.
And
a
the
bad
mom
guy.
complained and got free merch.
That's being a heel.
Maybe
That
it was
is
a
being
stunt
a heel.
kid.
But like I said, if we're talking a child came up to you that's with a disability, and you did something like that, I do have a fine line there for what you do to kids.
But what child
Goes up to MJF.
knows
Yeah.
MJF and says, "Mom, Dad, I want to."
Well, a kid could be like a 13-year-old. No, that's
thinking
okay.
If it's like a teenage kid, yeah, fine, whatever. But if we're talking like a child,
Like I don't think it's
7
little.
or 8 years old,
I don't think it's Tiny Tim. I don't think
Yeah.
it's like.
That's why I think it's not the same kids that want to meet John Cena.
Yeah. And by the
It
way,
can't be.
to even stand in his line, the gimmick was you were paying $130 an autograph.
Really?
And I think he does that on purpose to fucking shy that kind of stuff away. Because if you're in his line and you're willing to pay the $130, you know what you're going in for because he's MJF. And then when you get to the table, I think he says it's only
It's like
20.
30,
It's
yeah.
30, $25.
And then he's insulting everyone.
Yes.
It's like you're going to see. Well, he's dead now, but you're going to see Don Rickles. You know what to expect. Like those kids, and if nothing else, those kids' parents knew what to expect.
Yeah.
If it is a little kid,
If he didn't tell my kid I'm doing better than you and stood up, I would have been pissed because he fucking broke character.
Yeah.
It reminded me of there was this thing at Chikara once where Larry Sweeney, when he was still around, he did this thing where he was doing an arm wrestling match with a kid. I'm like, is he going to do a thing where he beat the kid? He smoked the kid in arm wrestling. It was
Ted
great.
DiBiase.
Yeah.
Ted DiBiase brought
paid everybody
Little
off.
Rob Van Dam.
he brought a little black kid in the ring and said, "If you can dribble this basketball, which I know you can do," made a clear racist joke and said, "If you can dribble this basketball 6 times, I will give you $200." And the kid goes, "Pfft," and goes 1, 2,
he
3,
kicks it,
4, and he kicked it out of the kid's hand and said, "Get out of my ring! You're not getting any money."
A lot of those kids were plants. Well, not
No,
like
but
at the house
said
shows.
they
weren't.
would find him and
Well, the
give
one
him
was
money.
Linda
Yeah.
McMahon.
Yeah.
Like it was like he had a woman come out and bark like a dog, and it's Linda.
Yeah.
Now, news-wise, I know I didn't post it on the page, and we did discuss this a little bit, but Impact is basically punishing Killer Cross because he refuses to blade himself.
I seen some. I didn't get to read it though. I didn't get to look into it. I heard that. I was
Pretty
like,
much, he
that's-
hasn't been on TV since right after Slammiversary, I believe.
Well, he asked for his release. And they don't
Yeah,
release
Well,
it.
that's probably has to do with the
all
Scarlet thing, yeah.
Well, Scarlet left because they released her, but he basically went off character, off cue, and went off on them on a podcast. And they basically took offense to it, and now they asked him to blade, and he's like, "I'm not going to blade. I don't do that."
Well, the worst way they could punish him is by making him wrestle for Impact.
Yeah. But
That's pretty
true.
bad.
But to keep a wrestler completely off of TV, basically telling him to stay home because he refuses to cut himself, is a bit much.
Yeah.
They're like, "Listen, man, we need ratings. You need to go cut your eye
But
out."
he was one of the top. He is one of the top guys.
I know.
He's in the top 5 there.
I've never seen him either.
Although Johnny
He was the
Swinger's
White
coming in,
Rabbit
so maybe he's going to be the
Lucha
top guy.
Underground
I didn't get
towards
that
the
far.
last season.
I didn't get that far.
He has a
All I-
great look.
Wait, I
He has
thought
a
the
good
White
look.
Rabbit thing was Paul Lund. Oh, no.
No,
was the,
he
like-
went down the rabbit hole.
Oh, okay.
I will 100% watch Scarlet Bordeaux wherever she goes. Spoiler alert, she's...
Because remember,
she's set a-
Masquerita Sagrada came back as El Bunny.
Yeah.
El Bunny.
Speaking of
It's
it,
not a Spanish word
yeah,
for bunny.
speaking of his girlfriend Scarlet, she reports that she's at the Performance Center. getting a tryout.
A private trial.
Private
oh,
tryout, yeah.
wow. Oh, private.
Smoke show and a private tryout.
Listen, put her on TV. I'll watch.
Yeah.
Vince is gonna hire her immediately.
Yeah.
You know this.
She's
See you when I go to tryout.
She's not amazing in the ring.
She's not.
but
No, she's not amazing.
She's
at all.
better than most.
I wouldn't
God
say that.
damn it! She don't even need a tryout. Hire her
In
now.
the ring, okay at best.
But here's the thing: she knows she's attractive. She knows she's that
she has
smoke
a
show,
great gimmick,
and she
yeah.
plays it into her gimmick.
But are
which
they gonna
makes
let her be this like super sexy girl on PG TV?
Yeah. Like her.
Yes.
I mean, they might have to
hope.
modify her gear a little
when
bit.
she was at the gym and she's wearing heels and she's like lifting weights, like that's
and she's
genius.
eating bananas,
Yeah.
like and giving lap
I mean,
dances.
she did beat the Disco Inferno. I mean,
Oh god.
I'll tell you what, I was sitting in the nosebleed section at PPW, the high bleachers,
Yeah.
and that ass was still huge. It was unreal. Ben almost had a coronary.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah.
She came out and Ben's
Ben
like,
was having a
Whoa!
coronary.
Ben's like, my heart.
Oh, look at that ass.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, Impact is coming around for a second time around with PPW coming up in November.
Oh,
Yeah, they did. I did see something about that. I don't think any names are announced or anything.
yeah.
Not Brian Cage.
Yo, why
He's
is-
been there
I'm just-
before.
No,
I mean,
I'm saying because
yeah.
he's persona non grata.
Oh, really?
They could bring back
I
Morrison.
did
I'll
see though. I
watch.
can't believe Johnny Swinger is going to be on Impact now.
Well,
Really?
you can't really,
Wow.
you can't have a house show like that that's being taped for a pay per view and not have the
The
heavyweight
world
champion.
Yeah. I mean,
Brian Cage is the champion. Chances are he's going.
I meant to say Killer Cross, not Brian
Oh,
Cage.
yeah, yeah.
I totally missed the joke.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I just want to get through this because I don't want to go too far behind because we have a lot to cover. CM Punk said, he's pretty much now out of negotiations. If WWF called him, he would entertain it. In a nutshell, he also said,
Is that from a wrestling standpoint or from an
just said-
announcing standpoint?
he just said if the call happens, he would entertain it. And then he also said that you don't have to let the promotions trick you. Wrestling is wrestling. Watch it all. It's amazing. And even Brian was said it's the best time in the world to be a wrestling
That's
fan.
true.
The Okada Suzuki. We'll get into that stuff later. That's UK recap. I'm sorry, just going through quick. What was your assessment on? What was your take on MJF? You said in our group chat.
I like him, but I think sometimes the hype goes too far. I think he's an NC-17 Miz.
I think that's a great
Yeah.
analogy.
In ring, MJF is he's
Like, because
okay.
you
He's
couldn't
okay.
you couldn't do this thing. Like, if somebody did that thing with a kid in a wheelchair at like WWF Access, they
Yeah.
would be fired.
Yeah.
Like, you can't
Yeah,
do
but
that.
you
He wouldn't even
can
make it
still
to
do
the
things.
end of the event. He'd be escorted out and be like, "Grab your bags, you're going home."
you could tell that MJF gets it though at this early age or age
Yeah.
more than Miz does. Because when Miz first came in, it was brutal.
Yeah, it was real bad.
Yeah, it was real bad.
Well, Miz
MJF
came in on the
gets it.
tryout.
Yeah, he got kicked
with-
out of the locker room.
He came in on the tryout
By some
for the
guy, I
talent
forget who it was.
search, and Miz slowly got it. MJF is 23 years old and
and already is this level.
on top of the
Crazy.
world in retrospect to a character.
Oh yeah. The sky's the limit for the guy.
Yeah. Now maybe a little being a little refined in the ring. Yeah, we can all agree on that.
Oh yeah,
He
for
can get a
sure.
lot
But I
better
think people
wrestling-wise.
act like he's reinventing the wheel.
Yeah,
no, he's just
no.
doing
It's just
cheap heat stuff, and that's
yeah.
fine. Like, people say cheap heat like it's bad. It's not. Like,
No.
it's fine.
Kylie Ray asked for a release due to medical issues, so that's out there.
Yeah.
She is retired, as I've heard
Yeah,
too.
it sucks.
she's
I
done.
watched that whole Rise DVD, and her match was really good. I was like, it's a shame she is
Yeah.
not wrestling now. Hopefully
what
she can come
exactly
back.
happened to her? Was it the same thing with
It
Sheamus?
seems like it might be a health thing.
Yeah,
Like a mental
might be a
health
mental
issue.
Oh,
thing.
it's
Yeah,
real
she deleted her
hush-hush.
Twitter and
Yeah,
stuff.
she's real
Yeah.
has a real bad depression apparently.
Oh, wow.
Who?
It's that shit. I'm
Kylie
sure,
Ray.
She's the one that comes out smiling all the
Yeah.
time. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sure they'll bring her back if she ever gets okay.
Yeah.
What's this trademark thing for Adam Cole? I don't want to read the whole thing.
WWE tried to trademark
They
Adam
tried
Cole.
to trademark his name.
How are you
He
going to
has-
trademark his name?
They
His
tried
It's not
to
his real
trademark
name.
Adam Cole.
They said that that's actually not his name. They said that he never used that name before WWE.
Okay.
And then
Wow.
he was like, yes, I did.
And that's as far as it
And
went,
here's
yeah.
proof.
Because those
And then
people like
that
CM
was
Punk
about
used it before, so he can use CM Punk now.
Yeah.
Rick
Do you
Rude.
think they'll punish him because they tried to
Well,
take
Rick
I don't
Rude
know- I
was
don't
spelled
think so.
differently. His original name was
I don't think that was.
Yeah, but no, he was able to use. Well, he actually legally changed his name to Ravishing Rick Rude.
Yeah.
But he was able to use it because he was Rick Rude before he was in W. He was in like Crockett and World
Yeah.
Class.
Well, speaking of weird news as well, Ric Flair is trying to trademark the Man.
I know, I seen that.
But he said he's still willing to let Becky use it, and he's not trying to stunt her
He wants
growth,
money for it.
But he wants
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
Intercontinental turned 40 years old. That's crazy.
But yeah, they're trying to build.
Yeah.
That tournament in Rio de Janeiro 40 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
The
It was real good. I hope they add that to the network.
Yeah, well, when is that coming on the network?
Triple H shut down the Enzo talk, saying it's not true, and it's just Enzo trying to get some publicity.
He
And the,
didn't even shut the door on that. He slammed the door, locked it shut, and said, "Get the hell
and the
out."
Briscoes cut
But
a,
if you were going to try to get Enzo and Cass back on TV and you want to keep
you're
it
not gonna
hush,
say
Yeah.
But the Briscoes cut a promo and referenced them at the end.
Really?
just last week. So I'm like, well, there's probably that.
Someone's gonna snatch him up. Honestly, they'd be amazing for a TNA. You want to get some people to watch your fucking show?
Yeah, that would get some interest.
Honestly,
yeah.
even Ring of Honor, like I know they did that whole angle where they came in and jumped those teams, and like, oh nah, but like they should try something.
But enough time has passed, and I think
nobody
people are
goes
over
Ring
that
of
now.
Honor
Yeah.
shows.
And I think that'd be a good place for them to go and
Me
earn
too.
their chops and get trained. What do we got here? Former gymnast, American Warrior contestant, Casey.
Catanzaro.
Yeah, she left the company due to injury.
She got hurt.
Yeah.
the bumps hurt. I don't think she knew wrestling really.
Yeah, those gymnasts, they don't like the bumps.
She
They're
was
so
too
small. Yeah,
She's-
exactly.
She's 100
Yeah.
pounds, 110 pounds.
What do we
expect?
feel about Seth Rollins getting this huge push and not getting as much backlash as Roman got?
I think he's starting to get it.
I think he's starting to get it too. I think
the
people are
fans are
starting to
getting
turn on him.
annoyed,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the big difference is they're going to be willing to turn him heel eventually.
But here's the good thing: his matches are good. So,
Yeah.
you know.
That's the only reason he's skated by so far
Yeah.
without getting all this attention.
And then we had
They should turn him.
the MJF Cole Cabana playing catch.
Oh, that
moment.
was great. Yeah, because they look alike.
Oh, that
Tegan
was so
Knox
funny.
has finally returned to the ring after her gruesome injury at the Mae Young Classic.
Yep.
Oh, she was at NXT, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
in the crowd. Yeah, she's cute.
Trying to see what else we got.
Well,
here.
she made her return to NXT UK and had a couple matches.
Oh, did
over
she?
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know she wrestled yet. The belt. We have to talk about the AEW belt.
We'll get there.
Back to that.
Asuka opens up her own gaming YouTube channel. Kenny Omega announces an AEW video game is coming. I'm just trying to bypass all that news real quick just so we can get to it. I think that's all we. Oh, Full Gear is announcing Omega versus Moxley,
Yes.
and now announcing Cody
Jericho-
versus
yep, Cody versus
Cody.
Jericho for the title.
And that makes I know we're getting to it later, that makes the booking for Sean Spears and Cody make a little more sense.
Yeah.
Because if they're giving Cody a title shot, they're going to make
Cody
him.
didn't lose yet.
Double
And
A
then-
Arn Anderson making an appearance.
Dream. We'll get there. Dream versus Roderick Strong for NXT.
Yeah.
on USA.
Debut.
That is the best possible scenario.
They finally get all the belts.
Yes.
But you see what they're doing now? The first hour is going to be on USA, and the second hour is going to be on the network.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the first two shows.
Yeah, until they're head to head.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Like that makes no
Why
sense.
not
Yeah.
just Why not just put 2 hours on? Oh, that's
No
not-
idea.
If you're going to TV, go to TV.
That confuses
Exactly.
people, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
A lot of people aren't going to watch.
Yeah, tune in at 9 o'clock now on the network. Like,
Yeah.
what? I'm watching it now. Keep it
Yeah.
on TV. What are you doing?
So is the Roddy going to be the?
I would imagine it's going to be on USA.
All right, I was going to
I
say
hope
that's
so.
on.
It better be.
If anyone's interested and they want to come hang out with us and hang out with the Tornado Tag crew, and you can buy your merch and wear it with us at the show, you can go buy your tickets now for Saturday, September 21st at Sacred Heart in Hazleton for the PPW show. Frank Mir, Austin Aries, Enzo, Cass, Rhino, and many more superstars, PPW
Rain.
superstars will be there.
Don't bury the lead.
What's that?
Andy Header.
Yeah, come
And
on.
Andy Header.
Yeah.
Andy Header's going to be... He's gonna
Wrestling
Be,
some random luchador.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be a good match.
Yeah.
Last match he had with Luchador was probably one of his better showcases.
Monkia.
Yes,
Yeah,
I did
butter.
talk to my friend Brooke last night, and according to her,
Brooke
Enzo and
Hogan.
Cass will be signing at a separate price.
I'm cool with that. I'll buy it. I'm paying for it regardless.
Which is weird.
I mean, usually
What if you want a picture of both of them? Because I would think if someone wants a picture
Wait,
with...
separate each. You have to pay for each guy.
I'm assuming so.
Yikes! I'm probably still paying
Because
for it.
I
But they have
understand, like, they did the deal where you get the chair and you get, like, the autographs from
Yeah.
the three that are there. But I could see a bundle deal for the both of
There
them.
has
but
to
if
be.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, I can't see paying separately for both.
Because it's not like
If
I want
it's
a picture
four-
with Rhino and Austin Aries.
If
Well,
it's 40 each, I'd be really upset. If they keep it reasonable
mean-
and do 25 each,
I mean, how badly do you want to get that signed?
I do. I really want to get that signed, but I don't know if I'm willing to drop $80 on it.
Now, do you
I
want
think-
to
I
sign
think
it? Do you
honestly,
actually want to
that's
sign
not
it
gonna be worth
Enzo
it.
or
You can turn around and
NZO?
sell it right away and make that money back.
No,
I didn't pay that much for fucking Shawn Michaels autograph.
that is
That's true.
yeah.
So
I paid, I think, $40 for Flair, and it
Usually-
came with the DVD.
Usually,
Yeah.
usually at PPW, it's like $30 for a picture and an autograph.
yeah.
So I would say
60 would probably be my limit. If
But-
they said
Yeah.
for 30 for each of them,
what
that
if
would
it was
probably
like
be the high.
50 for both then.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
I miss the old wrestling economy.
$100 I would not
Yeah,
do.
no.
60 is
See,
the
when
most.
he got that Shawn Michaels autograph,
50
the
for
joke
both.
was,
as in you just pay
get
$50.
Heidi
I
to
would do
sleep
that.
with him.
Yeah. 60
That way, by
separately.
proxy, after Heidi sleeps with him and he goes sleeps with Heidi, by proxy, he slept with Shawn Michaels.
You would be asking my brothers with the Heartbreak Kid? All right.
I would do it.
It used to be so much cheaper. I remember Wildwood, New Jersey, like 1997, I think, or 98. I got my picture taken with Bam Bam Bigelow for like $5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back in the day.
And then like 3 weeks later, it was on Nitro.
for $20, you get a picture and they give you another picture and they sign it. And
Rumor that NFL WWE will have a draft again coming up
that's
for
what
the,
they're
for the
saying.
show.
Yeah. October 14th or whatever.
Yeah, the second Fox episode, because the first was going to be like a reunion thing, like they just did for Raw.
Now, is this going to be Raw and SmackDown? Is this going to be Raw, SmackDown, NXT?
That's what nobody knows. They said the draft might start on the 9th of October with NXT.
So
NXT
people getting
drafts
called
Brock
up and
Lesnar.
they bring people down? I mean,
Yeah.
Well, it's like kind
All
of
right.
a cross now, you know?
So we're gonna get into our prediction sheets real quick because we do have a lot to go over with our spotlight as well. So NXT UK Takeover, Cardiff, or however they
Cardiff.
say it. Cardiff.
Cardiff, Wales.
All right.
That's where they filmed Doctor Who.
First match, triple threat, Gallus versus Grizzled Young Veterans versus Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews.
So I didn't see any of these couples, so I really can't say
I didn't watch this whole pay-per-view.
That
I've
match
been
was excellent.
Super busy.
That was an excellent match.
We had the winner going to Webster and Andrews, which I picked because I thought the name Webster was hilarious.
Flash Morgan Webster.
As in Webster from the 80s.
The mod father.
By pin, Webster made the fall. Gibson took the fall. Aerial moves 18.
Oof.
Wow.
Flying
That
all
was way
over the
off.
place. Yeah.
Was anybody even in the ballpark?
No.
I got 3
I had-
out of a
I had
possible
10.
19 points.
Yeah.
I had 10.
So did
for
I.
Aerial.
And I knew I was in trouble because I knew it was in Wales, and
Yeah,
I see
I-
the guys come out with the Welsh flag on their tights.
I
scored-
got 3 points as well.
I scored 11
I
on
heard,
that one.
I heard it was a great match, though.
It was very, very good.
Travis Banks versus
Noam Dar.
Noam Dar. Dar wins by pin. Aerial move 6, match 14 time. I actually had 9 points on that one. I did very well in the side category. Did not pick the winner.
Yeah, I had the same thing. I had 8 points, even though I got the winner wrong because I hit the time exactly.
Yeah, you hit 14 on the dot.
I did real well, 13 points on that one.
Mastiff versus Kofi. Or
Coffee.
Kofi was there.
Kofi.
Boom. Coffee with
Black.
the win. Coffee was the first one down for 3. Mastiff was the first one down for 6. Number of 9 counts, 1. Will there be blood? No. I scored 14 points on that.
17 out of 19.
Yep.
How,
14.
how was that, man? Want to see it?
It was alright.
I mean, for
I
two
kinda
big
skimmed
guys,
through it.
from what I saw from the highlights of it, it looked pretty good.
Although it did fit in with our theme here tonight because Dave Mastiff was wearing his Vader themed
yeah.
singlet.
Yes.
yes.
Tony Storm versus Kylie Ray. Or Kaylee Ray, or however you say it. Ray wins. Shocker. None of us got that.
Yeah.
By pin, near falls 3, match time 10.
And not that good. It was okay at best.
Yeah,
it was okay
that's-
at best.
I did not hear good things about
It
that match at
wasn't,
all.
And then to wrap up the night, Walter versus Tyler Bate.
Walter.
Walter wins by pin. Near falls 10. Match time 43.
Yeah.
Nobody was close on that.
It was
Yeah.
literally double what I thought it was. I
Yeah.
had 21 minutes.
Yeah. Outside interference, no.
So I got 11 out of a possible 20.
I had Walter. That's
Yeah.
Unscheduled appearances: Dragunov, Knox, Junior, Band, Barthel, Alishner. I can't say it. Wolf.
That's what I meant when I said Alistair.
Yeah.
Alishner Black.
Oh, you meant that?
No.
Wolf, Dunn, and 7. So
Trent 7. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Trent
should
Seven.
have put him too. I don't know why I wasn't thinking to put him.
So I think the most someone got on that was 3. I think everyone.
got
I got
6.
3.
I got
Oh,
0.
there you go.
I got
Well, who'd you put? Dunn and who?
I put Devlin, Cesaro, Dunn, 7, and Ono.
Oh, you got 7. Yeah. So yeah. So everyone finished there pretty decently. What was your total points there, Andy?
39.
39. Dave,
45.
45.
Mine was 40.
42.
40. So the winner of NXT UK, first place goes to me.
Oh.
Totally guessed. I scored 54 points.
Wow.
Second place
Hey,
went
you
to
didn't even
Dave
watch
with
it.
45.
Bullshit. Sorry.
That was
Brian
loud.
ended up with 42. Tyler with 40. Andy with 39. So that was the takeover card.
Wait. While we're at
So from what I see, the main event was good, but too long. Too long. I don't know what he's doing there.
Yeah, it was a little long.
And the girl match was okay.
Private part. This is now we're at All Out. All right. So the only takeaway that I seen that I didn't really watch it, but the only thing that bothered me is can we please stop making female wrestlers cry all the time?
Yeah.
It's just annoying. It's not.
It is what it is.
It's not a good look. It's not a
It's
good
definitely
look.
not a good look.
Yeah, the guys don't cry.
Yeah,
So,
it just makes them. You're
Unless
Shawn Michaels cried.
yeah, and then he left because he had no smile.
Yeah, yeah.
That wasn't a good look for him either.
Yeah.
It's just like
It's okay when you're a goofy heel.
there's
Eddie Guerrero cried.
The
There's
only
tons
guy I ever looked at with a crying face was Hollywood John Tatum. He had the best crying face ever.
I mean, Flair cries all the time.
After he wrestled.
If you want to get emotional, go for it for your moment. But it's when it's every single female match, you don't get that moment anymore. You just they look like crybabies, and then you just diminish what they're trying to do.
It ruined Big Show for a while because Big Show was crying all the time. He
Yeah.
was crying every episode of Raw. He was crying.
Yeah.
When
All Out. Private. This is during the buy-in. Private Party versus Angelico and Jack Evans. Please, Angelico and Jack Evans, change your fucking ring gear.
Oh, ugly. dude.
Horrible.
Are they still rocking that black with the lime green?
Lime.
Yeah.
Angelico
horrible.
looks terrible. Absolutely terrible.
They look like a Monster Energy drink.
Well,
Yeah.
when he had that ACL surgery after Lucha Underground kind of let him go, I don't think he really kept up with anything.
No,
Well, he's still skinny, but his gear looks terrible.
he wears a full body suit. Honestly,
He
and
looks
Jack
like a dirt bike rider.
Jack Evans carries the match every time they're in the ring. Private Party wins. Cassidy makes the fall. Angelico takes the fall. Area moves 11.
I had 10.
Oh, I had 10.
I got 0 on this one.
Really?
0.
What do they call their finisher? Because it's awesome. The Rana into the diamond cutter.
Yeah, that was really cool.
It's called
They-
gin and juice.
Oh, really?
They do a lot of fun, innovative stuff, and as
Yeah.
they get more
Their gear's really
experience
ugly, too,
under
if
them.
I'm
Yeah.
And they're another House of Glory product.
The dude with
Yeah.
the blonde, hawk hair, he needs to get rid of that coat thing that he wears. Just
Yeah.
take that off.
Yeah.
And their guy was wearing I don't know, jogging pants. Ugh.
Yeah.
This is where a Vince McMahon type is useful.
Yeah.
Get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
You
right.
gotta change your gear.
Yeah.
For the record, I kind of guessed on a lot of these, and I'm surprised I have this many correct marks on my paper,
Yeah. You actually went a little crazy with 2 of them, and it actually paid off for you.
including the one where I will say I told you so to all of you
All
assholes.
right, listen, even a blind squirrel finds a nut. Casino Battle Royale winner Nyla Rose. First eliminated was
Technically,
Shalonda.
the librarian. Technically.
What do you mean?
She went over the top rope, and both of her feet should have touched the floor, but Peter Avalon put the books down to let her walk across the
Well, then
books.
She did not get eliminated.
Then Kofi's still in the rumble. Then.
Yeah. Shalonda is the first eliminated. Last eliminated Baker.
We missed the beginning, so yeah. I guess,
And
yeah.
most eliminations went to Rose and number 21 entrance, which I popped for. I was super, super, super happy. Not only is because she's a fucking amazing person, she's super, super cool, and I think she's attractive. Mercedes. So when she came out, I was like, man, good for her. I'm a big fan of hers.
cool.
Now that was here
I
more
hope
of her-
they sign her.
Yeah.
I hope she really does she deserves something like that. I mean,
You can build a company around her.
WWE dropped the ball twice by not signing her after the Mae Young Classics,
Absolutely.
and now she's going to thrive from that.
Yeah.
Who did Nyla last eliminate? I forget.
Britt
Britt
Baker.
Baker.
Britt Baker.
It was
Dr. Britt Baker.
it was B. Priestley,
I have
Britt
an-
Baker,
I have
and
an
Nyla
X
Rose.
next to it.
For what?
For
For
last
Baker?
one I put Britt DDS and it says X. Not that it really matters. I would have got 2 points.
Yeah, that should be a check mark then.
Yeah, my bad. You could update it.
I don't think it really matters. I'm at 70 points. If it changes, is
72 points.
It's probably 72.
that what it would be when you get?
yeah.
Is everyone worth 2?
No,
points.
that was 3.
Okay, so I get 3 for
Yeah,
that.
3. I have to piss so bad again.
Can we take over for you?
Yeah.
Leave it to the Lord.
Do the Dark Order ones.
So then we go to Dark Order
I was
versus
gonna
Best
say,
Friends.
Before we do it, how about ODB in the battle royal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
Oh,
I mean, that
cool.
was a shock.
That's cool.
I was like, that's pretty cool.
Jazz was ball jazz was a little weird.
It was so weird. Jazz really didn't do anything in that battle royal. They all
No.
stood around.
They
and
did the
spot.
4-woman standoff. She gave a couple forearms, and I literally looked away because I watched it on break at work between 2 breaks to watch the whole thing.
It seemed like they really front loaded it
Yeah.
with names.
Yeah.
They
And
did,
it's
for
like
sure.
I literally looked down to grab a bite of my fucking food, and I look back. I'm like, "Where's Jazz?"
She's gone.
So then we had Dark Order versus Best Friends. This is just in the order on the paper, not the order of the show. This was for the bye in the first round of the tag title tournament.
That makes no sense at all.
Dark Order. Dark Order gets the win there.
That was a gimme. I don't
I
think Best
picked
Friends
that.
really needs to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still not working.
But the heel should get the bye in the tournament. But yeah, it's still not
Someone
working.
needs to go up to Uno and be like, you need a new name and you need new gear.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't disagree.
Just
Yeah.
let
I'm
them
okay
go back
with-
to the
I'm okay
Super
with
Smash
that.
Brothers. I mean, what's Nintendo really gonna do?
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, once they're on TV, so.
Yeah.
And then Evil Uno, speaking of the man who needs a name and a gimmick
Yeah.
change, he gets the pin over Trent. There should be a question
Yeah,
mark
I
on this.
had a stupid and Chuck.
And
I had Chuck
Wait, he
too.
pinned Beretta?
he pinned Beretta.
Yeah, 'cause
I
they-
do have
they
an
do
X
it-
mark across Beretta. I do have Beretta.
Wow. Yeah, change. Here you go.
He probably didn't realize it was Trent.
They do the buff blockbuster, but
Yeah, like
Powerbomb buff blockbuster,
and 1 minute, 1 minute to the first hug.
and they call it a fatality.
So give myself an extra 3 points.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Tony did not doing too good.
Congratulations.
But then
Don't-
Orange
don't-
Cassidy showed up, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
of
but
course.
Nice
his
little trio
spot
there.
was the coolest thing ever. I've never seen a dude literally run off the ropes, hands in his pockets, do a suicide dive, like, catch me!
And his glasses didn't fall.
Yeah, glasses didn't fall off, hands never left the pockets, he rolls back in the ring, nips up, and it's like, did I just do something?
People only act like he's a comedy.
Did you
wrestler,
really
but
pay
he's
attention
still
when I
athletic.
graded these?
Just watch
Yeah.
Fire Ant.
Yeah.
I know that has nothing to do with it, but
I
watch
got
Fire Ant.
Beretta taking the fall there. You had the X through it.
I fix it.
I
Add
did.
your points at the end. Yeah, I'm doing this, editing, and doing
Yeah, and then they did the best friends hug around
Yeah, so now
Orange. And he didn't even take his hands out of his pockets. Like shit.
Now there's
no.
three-
That's a good little
That's
trio
good,
there.
yeah.
That's a
And
fun
someone's
little
like, are they gonna
undercard
add-
comedy.
I just love how the whole
Trio
crowd is
style.
just chanting "freshly squeezed." It was great.
yeah.
I hope they don't add trio style because too much.
No,
Yeah, that'd
well,
be
I
too
think the
much.
Bucks even said they don't want a whole lot of titles.
which is good.
They said it's literally going to be the women's title, the tag team titles, maybe a mid card title, and the heavyweight title.
They should have
That's
a
all you
mid-card
need.
title
That's
eventually.
yeah.
You know, maybe like a TV title because
that'd be
nobody has a TV
perfect,
title
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Or they can keep the other cross promotion, like maybe the NWA titles in there.
You'll
See,
never
they
see
don't
that.
want to do
You'll
other
never see that
company
on
titles.
TV.
Like,
Yeah, I
they're not
wouldn't
going to
do
do the AAA titles anymore because they don't want to confuse the audience.
Yeah.
So
Joey Janela, Jimmy Havoc, Darby Allin.
Cracker Barrel Invitational, right? That's what
The
it's called?
Cracker Barrel Open or whatever
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
called.
whatever. It was
It was
Sponsored.
good. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun match.
It was a very fun.
It was
very
good, but
fun.
it wasn't like
This
over
match could
gory.
have been booked so much better.
How so?
I personally thought with the dumb stuff that the Janela does, Jimmy Havoc's hardcore background, and Darby Allin just doesn't give a damn, you could have gave them a 30-minute hell match. Just go do what you guys do.
I don't think they wanted
I'm-
to take that much away from the ladder match. I think they wanted to kind of save some of the.
I think
I think that's
for
exactly what
that.
it was.
yeah, I think for what it was, it wasn't over gory, and I
I
think
don't really
that
think they ever will. You're not going to see people getting.
yeah.
You're not going to
sliced
see a
up
lot
by
of the
wire.
stuff that WWE blacklisted on TV. I think TNT was very.
I was
specific
very
about that.
I was very happy with that as a hardcore match. I thought it was entertaining and I thought it was good.
I mean, after the mishap with Shawn Spears and Cody at
Yeah.
Double or Nothing, was it, or Fight for the Fallen?
It was Fight for the
Yeah.
Fallen,
Fight for the Fallen. They've already said there will be no more chair shots to the head.
And boy, did Cracker Barrel get their money's worth.
Yeah.
Whatever they paid, they got their money's
Yeah,
worth. That was
100%.
Like, I think
Excellent.
you could have taken a little bit from the ladder match and thrown it here and just say, you guys go do it, you guys do it. I mean, all three of them are technically hardcore wrestlers.
Yeah.
That could have went a million different ways.
I think it was fun.
I
I think it was
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was
I
fun.
think it-
and especially where they put it after Pac and Omega get the palate cleanser. It's a total
Yeah,
different
right.
thing.
Yeah, we're definitely not going in order here. But Havoc wins. Joey Janela takes the fall. 9 weapons used. There was blood. I think technically someone had a small cut.
Well, when
Did he do the coffin drop on the
Darby
trash
Allin
can?
did the
No.
the
He
did not.
skateboard
That's the
thing?
only thing I got wrong with that. Was
He
the
did
trash
not do a
can.
coffin
Yeah.
drop. He put himself inside the Cracker Barrel.
Well, no, he did do the coffin drop with the barrel. It was behind him, and
Yeah.
he did the drop. But it was not a trash can; it was a barrel.
There was
It's a
thumbtacks
wooden
in the
trash
skateboard.
can, damn it.
Yeah, the thumbtacks on the skateboard and the monkey flip with the chair was funny.
I thought that was one of the best.
Yeah, it was a
drops.
great
Yeah.
spot.
And
Just
he's like,
landing, sitting up.
And Joey Janela looks exactly like what's his name from Workaholics.
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I forget it. Yeah.
You know what? I don't get Jimmy Havoc. I don't get it. I don't see nothing in him.
I think isn't it more to just push him for the British audience? I think because they have a
Maybe.
great
Pretty
TV
much.
deal there.
I think that's why they want to bring in Marty too, is because
Yeah.
they're afraid
Well,
they're not going to
that
have
is
that British
true.
audience.
like they have
Buddy.
better TV in the UK than WWE does right now. That is
It's
a
gonna
huge
be-
thing. Yeah,
It's going to
I
be
think
Pac,
Havoc
him,
reminds me-
Havoc.
Havoc reminds me of a newer version and a younger version, like a new version of what the fuck his name from WCW. He was a hardcore dude, painted his face and Sting
Vampiro?
hated it. Vampiro. He reminds me like a Vampiro.
Vampiro was way better.
Yeah, Vampiro was great.
When he was in shape.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pac versus Kenny Omega.
This was like the second match.
Yeah,
Yeah,
second
second
of the
match.
night.
Really?
Pac wins by submission, but it's technically should have been KO. Just my opinion, because he technically didn't tap. He passed
Told
out.
you
Yeah.
so. I told you this was going to happen. None of you believe me.
Oh my god, we're never gonna hear the end of this. Didn't you get a 0 on one of your cards too? Shut up.
No? I didn't get a 0 there.
There's one of your matches got like 3 points. I don't want to hear it.
That was on.
I got 3 for this one.
Yeah, that was on NXT.
Near fall 7, match time 24. Pac Emerson's promos no. I thought it was a good match. I honestly think this match would have been would have been a better performance if Moxley was there. I think this was the better match.
yeah. Bell to bell was going to be better
Yeah.
than that. But.
Yeah.
This could have been a match they could have saved for DC.
No, I think it was a good spot for it. 'Cause
And now they have Moxley and Omega for that.
the only problem with the match I had. Now you have to think of someone who's like me, who has never really watched Kenny Omega. The only other time I've watched Kenny Omega now has been since All In. All I've ever heard of Kenny Omega is he's a 5-star machine. My opinion so far in NXT or the AEW, I have not seen a 5-star match out of Kenny Omega.
No, there has been yet.
No, there
I
hasn't
don't,
been.
I don't
yet,
think
so
they're
far.
really trying.
The
I
best
think
one
this-
was one with Shima. That was
Yeah.
his best one.
I think the storyline's gonna be though that he's struggling in AEW. Like I think that's the whole point.
It seems like that's where they're going.
Yeah.
Maybe
Because
for this he had the
The
thing. where
Bucks
he's like,
haven't booked themselves over yet, really. Kenny's booked himself under since. Cody's only won one match.
Cody won.
No,
Oh,
Cody's
yeah.
won 3.
Two.
Cody's won 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Three.
Well, I guess,
yeah,
I guess it was
no, it was a draw. Yeah.
So
They're doing what they need to do. They're booking themselves under, putting the talent first, and then gradually you'll see them.
But the second they go over, people are going to be like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
It's
they're
going to be the NWO all over
They're
again.
gonna
That's
shit
the
on
way
They
they're going to
have
look
to
at
win
it.
eventually.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
always lose.
The only thing is, I didn't understand the ring psychology that Kenny was
He
trying
was
to do.
like all lazy, like
Where he
just
was
take
being
care of-
lazy and
yeah.
like, oh, I'm just taking him lightly. It didn't make sense.
I think it adds to the thing where he's like, he thought because he was Mr. 5-Star over in Japan that he could just come to this company and
they
just
need
run
to start
through
putting
them.
that in promos.
Yeah.
Then they need to start putting that ring psychology into their promo work.
I agree.
Now I don't
But
watch
the only
Being
place
the
that's
Elite.
where you have to watch it.
I don't watch Being Elite. Maybe they're doing it there, but like
They haven't so far. He was kind of heelish in his last promo on there when he was talking about how he hopes Moxley never comes back because he thinks Moxley's a joke and he thinks he's overrated and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay.
Well, he went to cut the promo, and then they like stopped him like, Kenny, he's out of the match. He has MRSA, and he's like, oh, they're like, okay, reset. We're gonna do this again.
yeah. So that's the only complaint I have. I still think it was a good match. I honestly thought Pac hurt himself again when he did the moonsault to
And
the
hit his
outside
legs off
and
the-
hit
Well,
his
that's
legs
because
off
they
the-
had the thing so close to the ring.
Yeah,
Like, they had
Let's
no
probably get
space
more,
for anything.
more seats.
Yeah, the crowd is definitely on top of the ring, which I kind of like too. I like that they're that tight. Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks. Good match. Very spot fest. There was nothing in between spots. It was just like spot, work
Yeah.
to the next spot, spot, work
It
to the next
kinda was
spot.
like
So you're saying it was a Young Bucks match?
Yeah.
Once again, this is I'm coming from the persona where I haven't watched many of the much of or any of these guys' matches until recently.
Love the Lucha Bros. Love the Young Bucks. The match bored me
I thought it was.
See, I love
it
the
didn't-
match. Yeah,
it
I'm
did
the
not
only
bore
one who
me.
really loved
No, I liked it a lot,
It
but
did not bore
was
me.
very much
because
what
it
you're
was
saying.
predictable. Like, oh, they're setting up the ladders in front of the tables. I guarantee you, one of them's going up there and jumping off it.
Same can be said for every ladder match.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, but to the point where they both climb the ladder, look over at each other, like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it."
But how about when he fell off the ladder from inside the ring and almost killed
Nick,
himself?
Yeah.
That
that
was a
was bad.
whoopsie. That was a
Wowzer.
whoopsie.
And the Canadian Destroyer was insane off the
Yeah, the
No,
Canadian
that was
Destroyer-
insane. Yeah.
So
No,
I didn't see that coming. I'll give
And then
them
when
that.
Matt pulled off what's Pentagon's mask.
Pentagon's
Oh,
mask, that was
yeah,
cool.
overall I thought it was a good match. Lucha Bros win.
It didn't have feeling like when they wrestled Cody or Kenny and Coda.
Yeah.
Like that match was like, oh, there's so much like
Lucha
storyline.
Bros versus Lucha Bros win. First to climb ladder was both Bucks. First to touch the belt was Matt. First to get hit with the ladder were both Lucha Brothers. Super kick 6. And then at the very end of the match, we had the surprise of
LAX.
Well,
LAX.
now they might have a new
or
name.
what's their new
Yeah,
name?
because they can't take LAX with them.
They changed their Twitter handles to PNP.
Yeah, it's like Proud and Powerful or something. That sounds so dumb.
Yeah.
That kind of sounds
Yeah.
like
Well,
a gay pride
somebody
thing.
said that they should just go to LAE.
That's what I
Still
said. Yeah,
be the
I
Latin
think they
American
just-
exchange.
Dude,
That's
that's exactly what I
fine,
think they should
yeah.
do.
Just change the letters.
Yep.
Then we had Rio versus Sheedah. This match
It was kind of in a dead spot.
did not do much for me.
Yeah, it was.
No,
okay.
it fell flat.
Especially with Rio winning.
That's exactly how I felt. It felt just like,
93 pounds, and now
Yeah.
now Nyla's not. If Nyla doesn't win, I fucking
Kenny's really big.
Well, I
on
think that's
that
what they're
Rio.
setting it up for. I think that's why I picked that. I thought they were going to do the David Goliath thing
Yeah.
with.
Nyla has to win. I feel, but it's
Yeah.
me.
and Nyla already lost once because remember it was her, Rio, and I think the same girl actually. They had a
No,
triple
Yuka
threat.
Sakazaki.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Rio wins by pin. Ariel moves 6. Now going back to, and then after she
I was
wins,
close.
Nyla comes out and kind of gives her the face like I'm going to fucking kill you,
Which is good.
which was exactly what she needed to do. Now there's some controversy out there. People are upset about the Nyla thing. I don't know how anyone around this table feels, but I personally, I don't see an issue with it.
I don't care.
I don't care.
People say unfair, but it's like it's wrestling. There is no.
Now-
fair. There's
Yeah,
no
there's
fair
no
and
fair.
When it comes to professional sports, actual sports, mixed martial arts, basketball,
UFC.
Then it's
mixed
different.
martial arts.
That's yeah.
UFC is a brand. Mixed martial arts is
Well,
a sport.
yeah.
But that's different to me. I'm not transphobic. I'm not anti anything. I'm also the type of person that thinks, man, like if for how much we're trying to say that women should have rights and we should have women's rights, where's the line here? Because if someone who works their ass off to become like a track star, like now there is circumstances out there where trans people are losing in events, but it's not very often.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Joe Rogan's been very adamant about that one female.
Fallon Fox.
Yeah.
And she
And
she
she's
has
lost.
lost fights.
She
yeah.
has lost.
Yeah.
She has lost. So there is an argument on both sides.
Yeah.
But also on the same argument, Fallon has hurt people very, very bad.
Hurt other women.
Yes.
Being a trans woman.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that I'm not saying I'm totally against it, but I think it should be looked into more. Now, in the sport of professional wrestling, if the company is segregated, where women can't fight men and men can't fight women, and you're transgender, go for it, because I don't care. You know what I mean?
Back in the 90s, intergender matches were happening every other week.
Personally, I like intergender matches. I don't think wrestling should be taken as seriously as it does. Hence why I loved Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
Sexy Star was the fucking
world
champion.
champ, yeah.
She was a world champ, and she was beating big ass dudes.
She beat Pentagon.
She beat Pentagon for the title, yeah.
And she was beaten because it took the lore away that anyone can do this, and it was like not in a bad way either. It was that's what I feel like that's what wrestling should be. Yeah, Rio should. If she beats Nyla, I sound like I'm fucking contradicting myself, but like that's the specialty of wrestling. Like the David beat Goliath. That's why I was a Shawn Michaels fan. Every time Shawn went against a Razor or a Diesel or a huge guy and he came out on top, I was like, being a small kid, I was like, we can fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like
even one of the women, Ivelisse in the Battle Royal, she was a trios champion in Lucha Underground with Matt Cross and I can't remember who their tag team partner was.
Ivelisse, the one with the red hair.
Yeah.
That's her.
Hate her with the red hair.
She had the red hair towards the end of Lucha Underground there.
When I watched it, she had the darker hair, though, much better. I didn't even know it was her.
Blonde,
I just realized.
She didn't do anything in that match either.
No, she didn't do hardly anything.
She was in there for about 3 minutes and got tossed.
Now, when it comes to the female division, where I think you should definitely be contacting Mercedes to sign her, your division looks weak right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look that good.
Did anybody else find it oddly weird that Nyla did eliminate like all 4 members of her suit within like the first 35 seconds
That's
of the match?
exactly how you should have booked it.
Yeah, I knew she was getting the most. I picked it. That's why I had her as most eliminations.
Yeah,
I knew she was getting
same
that
here.
diesel push.
All right. Anyway, let's get into this. Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy versus and Marco Stunt versus SCU. SCU wins. Karzan takes the fall. Makes the fall. Kazarian takes the fall. Makes the fall. Took the fall. Stunt. One move off Luchasaurus.
Hang on.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was 2, but there was only 1.
Yeah. Thought it was a good match.
Yeah, I thought it
I
was very
called the
good.
finish. I did call the finish with the best Meltzer ever. I mean,
Especially for an opening match, I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
And
Very good.
Luchasaurus was super over.
And I like how
more over.
how they did the clean, like, let's all shake hands at the end.
Yeah.
the BME is a great move the way it is. Now
And
you're
at
just turning it
Marco
into a
is
tombstone
so-
pile driver.
The double best. No,
Sorry about that.
I'll be honest though, I liked it a lot more when it was just Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Like I
Yeah,
don't need them to have Marco Stunt to be
No.
a part of the team.
Mark, no offense.
They
I
needed it
don't,
for the SCU match. So.
I don't know where they're going with Marco
Yeah, that's
Stunt. I know
where
they
do you
signed
put
him,
him?
but he's more of a liability than he is
You put him
an
in
asset.
You put him in the women's division, like
You have no choice.
Yeah. And then the last match tonight, Cody versus Shawn Spears.
Second to last match.
Second to last match.
Yeah.
I have one. Second to last match. One complaint with this match, and I was very, very angry while we were watching it. Andy can tell me, and it actually made some big news on the internet.
And it was his contacts. He didn't like that.
No.
It was his contacts.
I was so pissed about the dog. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
get the fucking
A lot
dog out of there.
people, yeah, they should have I think they said now. Oh, we shouldn't have made.
Yeah, Tony Khan said like he had his press
I
conference
was
thing.
watching it. I was so he could attest me. I'm like, that dog is fucking terrified.
terrified, yeah.
And all he wanted, like, this should have never ever
Too
did that.
loud for the dog.
They don't need the dog.
Yeah.
Which is it's amazing they didn't think of that, because one of the big things they do is it's very important for them to be sensory inclusive, and they do things for people with autism and things like that.
Not think about that. And now German Shepherds are naturally very high anxiety and don't like a lot of that stuff to begin with. If you don't know what we're talking about, AEW has 2 entrance ramps, and all the wrestlers were there, and a bunch of pyro hit. And as soon as the pyro is probably
It's real loud. It's hot.
it's hot. It was literally 10 feet away from their dog.
This scares dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 10 feet away from the dog, and the dog immediately freaked out. They didn't know how to handle the dog.
I would just be like, go Brandy, go back.
Brandy should have walked right backstage. She never came out. And it got to the point where Brandy couldn't even control the dog. The dog was trying to run away. And MJF took over the dog.
Yeah.
The dog responded better to him than he did Brandy. And
Because the dog didn't bite him in the balls for throwing that steak off the fucking ledge.
but that bothered me. Then during this match, it was MJF at ringside with
Cody.
with Blanchard. I thought MJF was a pretty decent face manager as well. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
I see that being maybe a one-off. I'm not going to expect to see that every time.
Well, until
It's champing Gargano, where it's like, okay, we're just waiting for him to turn. When's
Yeah.
it happening?
And they teased it. So Cody wins by pin, 0 near falls. Chair was used. Outside interference was used.
Back to that match real quick though. Like, there's so many times in that match the booking just made no sense. Like when Cody hit the crossroads on Spears the first time, Spears got up before Cody did.
Yeah.
He got up and kicked MJF in the face. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Why did Tully chase Arn back in the
Yeah.
back? That made no sense.
Yeah.
He just left this dude high and dry.
Yeah.
There's
That's because you're my old tag team partner. Why did you do this?
Yeah.
It's that whole
Yeah, that kinda
exasperation
is like,
thing.
why-
I thought they brought him backstage so then MJF can do his turn.
That's exactly what I thought. And that would have made sense. That would have made perfect sense. But then there was no turn.
Once again, they also swerved us because MJF held the chair, and he just just quick dropped and hugged him. So, you're probably asking, what are you talking about, guys? I didn't watch it. In case you didn't, Arn Anderson came down, spine bustered.
It still looked
Sean
good. I mean,
Spears.
It looked good for a 60-something-year-old man.
Arn doesn't look so good, but he even said something in Jericho's podcast. He said, "Oh, I'm fat. What do you want me to do?"
Yeah.
He's like, "A little trouble getting in the ring there, Arn."
The spine buster looked really good. End of the night, Hangman versus Jericho. I told you so.
Yeah.
Hangman with Hunter Horse Helmsley.
Yes.
Hunter Horse Helmsley, and there will not be a horse in the arena. I remember someone said that too.
Right.
Yeah, remember that? Remember that guy who was bragging about a submission win with Pac?
Yeah.
I also said-
Thankfully, no fireworks around the horse.
Yeah, I said there will not be a horse in the arena.
Well, they were completely against it at first, and he's like, if you
course
watch
they
Being
were.
the Lead, he literally just said, screw it, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
He literally told the Bucks to their face, like, screw it, I'm doing it. He brought 2 horses in, he's like, I'm doing this.
Yeah. It was cool. It was a cool spot. It was a good match. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was a very classic old school style match.
It wasn't 5 stars, but it was still
No.
good.
The booking made a
was
lot
4.
of sense. How Paige, you could slowly see he was starting to enjoy beating up Jericho more than trying to win the match. Like there was plenty of times he could have pinned him, but he was like, "No, I'm going to keep beating him up."
When it came down to ring psychology, that definitely won
oh
the
yeah,
night for me.
sure.
Cody and Shawn had a good match, but I thought Jericho's just a match. Like Jericho's not going to give you a 5-star Kenny Omega match when it comes to spots or crazy this. But Jericho can. His ring psychology is bar
It's
none.
second
the
to
best.
none. Yeah.
Jericho's gonna do what Jericho does best, put on a hell of a match and just make the other guy look great for
Yep.
25, 30 minutes.
Gigged himself a little bit, made himself bleed.
Yeah, it was so obvious when the ref was
'cause
handing him
the
the
ref's
blade. Oh man, it was
It
bad.
was like, oh.
And that was the female ref,
Female
too.
ref.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the female ref looked good though. I thought she did a good job.
He requested her.
Yeah.
On his podcast, he said he requested
I
her.
liked her. I thought
Yeah, she was good.
I thought the spot when he like kind of shoved her and she
Yeah.
got in his face. I thought it was good. I thought that's what Jericho wanted. Like you need something like that.
It
Are
would've
you going
worked
to be
better if
buying
they
the
didn't do
new
that
A Bit
exact
of the
spot in
Bubbly
Cody
shirt?
match.
Not right away, but it will happen. But so Jericho wins by pin, 9 near falls, 26-minute match, and there was blood. Now after the match, a little bit of promo where Jericho went backstage and
That's fantastic. He said that was all. They said, just do it. Just insult people.
yeah, and Brian Pillman I think got the worst of it.
Yeah.
Look at you, stupid hair, idiot.
You gonna shush me, librarian? Up yours.
Yeah. And then he had a little bit of the bubbly.
Scorpio Sky, you're never getting a title shot.
Yeah.
A little bit of the bubbly caused the incident that happened afterwards,
Yeah,
apparently.
he had
That got so over. It's
He had-
insane how
Yeah,
over
it's
that got.
viral. It's totally
He had a
viral.
lot of the bubbly.
And now that's his gimmick. And that
Yeah.
new-
Look at these olives. They can't even afford to buy good olives.
There's a little guy in here.
Yeah. But yeah, Jericho, there's multiple stories what happened. Jericho said he lost it in the restaurant, then he said he lost it in an airport, then he said he grabbed the wrong bag. And the guy who found it, it was in the limo, and then somebody went in the limo and stole it. And the guy who found it said, I found it in the street. It was laying in the street.
They said it was in the velvet bag, which is like, who do you believe? I mean, it looks pretty good. The guy seems legit. But
Yeah. He said, I found it. The cops didn't have to come look for him. He's like, yo, here it is. I'll turn it in. And I found it in the street. And yeah.
No offense, but if this is a work, if somebody actually did steal the belt, I'm pretty sure it would be very hard to find.
I think
I
whoever
don't.
stole the belt was like, I'm going to go to jail for a long time because that was ground larceny. That was $30,000
Yeah.
belt. That's like felony. That's like 10 years in jail.
Like, what would you do with it? You can't show your buddies. Someone's
No.
gonna tell.
You can't resell
Somebody,
it. Yeah.
somebody
Can't post a
stole.
picture.
Somebody stole one of Bruno's belts, and it just wound up in an attic forever until
Really?
somebody found it and wound up with WWE.
Yeah.
And then the only other one that went missing, literally, Pedro Morales pawned his WWF title once.
Yeah.
And this historian, not Tom Cole, that was that Run Ring announcer. This one historian, I forget his name now, Tom something, found it in a pawn shop, bought it, and I think he wound up giving it back to Pedro eventually.
Wow. But yeah, so Jericho lost the belt, but it's back. The reason I don't think it's a work is because I think there was two police involved. And
Yeah,
stuff.
he
Yeah.
filed a real police report.
And they shared the police reports. I'm like, well, I
So-
think they tried to turn this story.
But
into
who do you
gospel
believe?
pictures.
Do you believe which story do you actually believe?
I don't think Jericho knows what story he told. I think Jericho was playing Hangover in his head and literally was like, "These are the things I can remember."
Yeah, I
Well,
think
if
he
you just won the belt, you probably have
The weird thing is, Why was he allowed to leave the arena with the belt?
Usually
the belt travels with.
No, not all the time.
Because he's Jericho.
It depends.
Well,
I'm sure, like, hey, there's
I'm just saying, 90% of the time the belt travels with.
Nope.
No.
No. Something it all depends. WWE keeps all. There's
But don't they have like the
there's
WWE
show
has the
titles
TV belt?
and there's
Yeah.
road titles too.
Yeah.
So they have like one that's get beat up. Like it's more like ROH. You carry that belt with you.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of those slower ones that keep the belt with you.
Yeah.
Unless you don't want to, but then somebody has to take care of it. So that's why it's like it's best if the wrestler keeps it because usually they're not going to lose.
So, Brian, after your revisions, what did you end up with?
3 more. So whatever I had plus 3.
yeah, I had 73.
All right. What was your revisions?
83.
Yeah, we all picked 3.
I had
more.
76.
I had 80. Yeah.
All right, so it didn't matter. So first was Dave from NXT. Second would be Tyler. Third would be Brian. Fourth would be Andy. Fifth would be me.
Oh, for me, for All Out.
For All Out. Sorry, with All Out. So the overall winner, Dave, with 125, but that's not the official title. The thing because it was revised. Second would be Brian with 119. So it was very close. That's why I asked. But if Dave got the plus 3 and you got plus 3,
Yeah, we both got a plus 3.
it's a
there.
wash. Third would be Tyler. Fourth would be me. Andy, you finished last this time.
I didn't get into it very good at all.
Shove it, Austin. Shove it.
So we will be back for these. What did you think your first time playing?
That was fun.
Fun,
A lot
good
of fun.
stuff?
I think they're cool.
Um,
I wonder if there was a New Japan one, the Royal Quest.
they did not.
I think they probably
Yeah.
did.
So the next one would probably be
Clash of Champions?
Clash of
Sunday.
Champions, yeah.
So we
Is
will.
that this Sunday?
Next Sunday, I believe.
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
I said, please not be this
Yeah,
Sunday.
yeah.
I don't think I don't
I
think
said
it's
we
the
don't have
15th.
cards.
I think it's the 15th, yeah.
Yeah, it's
it
next
has
Sunday.
to be, 2 weeks.
I'll have them printed out again. We'll do it again. But that pretty much wraps up all that. We have a spotlight tonight.
We
So
do.
I think it's time.
It's time.
It's time.
It's Vader time. So once again, this is a little thing we like to do here is where we pick a superstar. Now, when we do this, I want to let people know if they ever want to vote online or put something in the comments that they want something we want to cover, or if you guys want to choose something eventually. It doesn't always have to be a wrestler. It could be a moment in time. It could be the night that fucking
A show.
The
Listen,
night Kimono Manalea danced
Yeah.
upon the ECW arena.
we can do that. I mean, if you really, really want us to, but I don't. What are we going to tell you that hasn't already been told? But like the Montreal screw job,
Right.
Unless you want opinion on it, I don't care. You know what I mean? But like, it could be a wrestler, it could be a manager, it could be a booker, it could be a promotion in general. Anything. It could be anything wrestling related. So it could. You can even go like Donald Trump because he had to run into the rest. Like, you know what I mean? It could be literally anything. So if there's something that you want us to cover, or one of you guys, when it comes to time to pick, you guys are more than welcome to do so.
Tonight's spotlight, Vader.
So
Go.
tonight's spotlight by Brian is Vader. So take it away, Brian.
Big fan of it.
Oh, shit. I'm doing this. Okay.
You don't have
Well, the first things first, if you had never seen Vader a match or anything in his life, the man was just a freak athlete. I mean, he was an All-American.
And by the way, if you pick something from now on, you got to do at least a little bit of research, and you're the one carrying the torch.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
Yeah, he was an All-American. He played in the NFL, and then
Absolutely.
after the NFL, it was
Don't
just
go
kind of
crazy.
like, what do I do?
Let him do his
I
thing.
got you. I'm just loading it.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't realize I'd have it up here. So it's Vader. Real name, Leon Allen White. Born May 14th.
What a name too, you know? Like you're this big badass guy, and your name's Leon.
Born May 14th, 1955 in Linwood, California. Made his pro debut October 18th, 1985 for the AWA in a 14-man battle royal won by Baron von Raschke,
Oh, boy.
the Clawmaster. Yeah. Other names, Big Van Vader,
Baby Bull.
Baby Bull, Bull Power, and Super Vader.
Bull Power sounds like he'd be wrestling PPW next month.
Yes, he went by Leon White as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baby Bull Leon White was
In
his
the
original
very,
name.
very beginning.
Bull Power seems like it might have gotten confused with Bull Pain.
Yeah.
Either that or Bull Dempsey's trying something new.
He fell off the face of the world, man.
What happened? I mean, he got his release and then boom, gone.
He wasn't that good anyways.
Yeah.
So Leon White was raised as a boy in some of the rougher
Raised as a
neighborhoods.
boy, not a girl.
As a boy.
So,
In some of the rougher neighborhoods of South Central Los Angeles County.
Wow.
He mainly grew up in Compton.
How about
This is
that?
legit. He mainly grew up in Compton.
I
Yeah.
had no idea he was from California.
Yeah.
Learn something
Originally
new.
from California.
You seem more like a Southern guy.
I honestly thought he was from like Oklahoma.
I thought it was from like it was like Minnesota or
Midwest.
something.
Yeah, no, he's from Compton. Born and raised in Compton. Yeah, and then
Christ.
Straight out of Compton. It's fucking Vader time.
he wound up moving to a nicer area when he was in high school, and then he wind up. He's most associated with Colorado, like the Rocky Mountains.
Okay, yeah, right. That's
And
right.
he wound up going to the University of Colorado on a football scholarship. He was a center, And he wound up actually getting drafted in the 3rd round in 1978 by the LA Rams.
Ended up back in
Oh,
LA
wow,
anyways.
that's cool.
Yeah.
1978.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
knee injuries ended his career pretty early, though he only played for like a year or two. And then in the mid-'80s, he was approached by a gym owner who had remembered him as a college football player, and the guy said, hey, you want to get into wrestling? So that's when he hooks up with one of the all-time great wrestling trainers, Brad Reagan's.
Also,
Well, if you
at
look
that
at-
time, he was also one of the largest men to ever
I
put
was
on a
gonna
pair
say,
of pads in the NFL.
He's what, 6'5", 6'6"?
He was
He was almost 400 pounds
He
playing
wasn't-
lineman
I was
in
gonna
the
say,
NFL. I can
he
wasn't
understand why he had knee
he wasn't
injuries.
as big when he was
probably like 320 or something.
yeah, like more of legit, like maybe 320 at that point. And yeah, so he trained with Brad Rangan, so would go on to train guys like Brock Lesnar. Trained a lot of those Minnesota guys because he was the head of the AWA school at the time. And he was Baby Bull Leon White. That's where the Baby Bull came in.
Ooh.
And he worked his way up the card pretty quickly. Had some matches with somebody he would be very linked with in the future, Stan Hansen, when Stan Hansen was the AWA World Champion. And then he wound up getting booked in Europe. He was Bull Power in Europe. That's where the Bull Power comes from. He wrestled for Otto Vons and the Catch Wrestling Association. And he ended Otto Vons' 9-year-long CWA World title reign in March of '87. By the end of '87, Vader, or Leon White at this point, then made his debut in the persona he'd use almost exclusively from then on. Antonio Inoki had just beaten Ricky Choshu by DQ at New Japan's year-end show at Tokyo Sumo Hall when he was challenged by a monstrous masked man named Big Van Vader. And we brought up last week, this was originally supposed to be the Ultimate Warrior. And then either he said no or they saw him work and that was out the window.
Especially in Japan, my God.
And even this one, this was a very big deal because even though Inoki had just had a match and he was exhausted, he beat Inoki in less than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And
He had a full mask then.
yeah, full mask. And back then, and even to this day, like Japanese fans don't take to the non-Japanese wrestlers so much. So when this big gaijin comes in and beats Inoki in less than 3 minutes, there was a riot, and they were not allowed back in that building for over a year. And Vader would go on to win the IWGP title a total of 3 times, and he also won All Japan's Triple Crown title twice. He was the first gaijin, the first foreigner to ever win the IWGP title.
Is Gaijin?
It means American.
It means foreigner.
Foreigner.
Is it like a slang?
Yeah.
Is it like, is it like
Gaijin
It's
it-
not like saying.
No, it's not like a slur.
Okay,
That's
I was
just,
gonna say, is it-
that's just their way of saying you're not
N-word.
from here.
Yeah.
like what is it in like Spanish? Gringo. Like
That's
Gringo
just for
means
white
white
people.
guy.
For
Yeah.
white.
yeah, like but it's like,
Gaijin
it's-
just means foreigner.
It just means
Yeah.
non-Japanese wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like Gringo
So,
is,
it would just be
it was
like-
supposed to be like
It just be it's like saying foreigner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like
That's
like
just
a
their way of-
Mexican
It's
not-
wrestler
it's
be a
not an
gaijin. It's
insult.
like a
Yeah.
I mean, AJ Styles, I don't think they ever called him Gaijin. They just let him go because everybody knew who he was. But at the time when Vader came over to Japan, he was literally like, who the hell are you?
He's probably the guy who opened the door for those guys.
Absolutely.
And allowed American wrestlers to be successful in Japan.
Terry Funk was more of
Stan
that. The
Hansen was over there
Destroyer,
before him.
Andre
Yeah.
would go over.
Andre,
Stan
yeah.
Hansen was over there
Hogan
before
went-
Vader,
Hogan
right?
went over there.
Huh?
Stan Hansen went over before Vader.
Yeah, Hansen was over there forever.
Brody.
Brody, Dick Beyer would be probably the first guy.
Yeah.
Like when they were first starting, the Destroyer was big over
course,
there.
I gotta
Andre.
admit though, for how much he worked with Stan Hansen, it makes you wonder how many times he actually picked his brain being big guy to big guy.
Yeah, oh no, I'm sure he learned a lot. Stan Hansen, one of the unsung all-time greats. And also tag wrestling. Vader would win the IWGP tag titles with Bam Bam Bigelow, who was called Crusher Bam Bam Bigelow over there.
That's an awesome team.
That is an amazing
awesome
team.
I
And
wish we
speak-
got that team in the States.
There's a match in New Japan World where it's Bam Bam and Undertaker versus it was Shinya Hashimoto and some
Okay.
other guy. But Undertaker is Punisher Dice Morgan.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
His one and only
Bam
appearance
Bam
in
Bigelow
Japan.
and Vader is a fucking dream.
Yeah.
Me, Mark, and WCW. It doesn't get much worse than that.
And another dream team in All Japan, it was Vader and Dr. Death, Steve
Yeah.
Williams.
Not as cool as
Wow.
Bam Bam.
And I just never did Doctor.
and then
Which is crazy because Dr. Death was a legit badass.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he could have messed up a lot of.
he was also almost in the Olympics. Yeah, he came very close to making the 1980 Olympic team. And in 1989, this was really unprecedented at the time. Major accomplishment. Vader held the IWGP title. He won it the second time over Hashimoto. He won the CWO World title again as Bull Power in Germany. And he won the UWA title in Mexico from Canek. So he was a world champion in 3 major companies on 3
crazy.
different continents
Yeah.
at the same time.
It's crazy.
That's
Frequent
crazy.
flyer
That's
miles
insane.
are racking up there.
But then WCW starts to take notice of this, and he comes back in 1990. But in 90, he was doing like on again, off again, for a while, and they even had him wrestling Stan Hansen a little bit, and that came after one of the most famous Japanese match, probably the most famous Japanese match he had, as far as Americans go. In 1990, he got hit with a cowbell during Hansen's entrance, and his face was all crushed. And then Vader had Hansen in a headlock. Hansen pushed against Vader's face and got his thumb in the eye socket and pushed his eyeball out.
Yeah.
And Vader takes the mask off in the middle of the match, pops it back in.
Looks right at the referee and goes, "Is this look okay?"
Yeah.
And the referee goes, "Fuck no!"
Yeah.
And he just literally just pushed it back into his eyes. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And so that is something that Vader even made fun of when he inducted Hansen in the Hall of Fame, because he put the glasses on with the eye that drooped down. So shortly after this, in 1992, Vader goes full-time with WCW, and that's when the Big Van kind of got chopped off his name, because New Japan owned that, and WCW could use Vader. And Harley Race becomes his manager. Harley Race had just retired as a wrestler.
And that was a good pairing, I thought.
They were very good together. And Harley Race was one of those guys that managed like a wrestler. He got involved all the time. And so they had a match on TV where he just brutalized Sting. He lost by DQ, but he roughed Sting up. I think they had like a worked injury where he like had a lung injury and a back injury. Yeah. And then by the 1992 Great American Bash, with Bill Watts in charge now, Vader wins the WCW title. But that first title reign didn't last long. He had a knee injury. He really did need time off. And he loses 3 weeks later to Ron Simmons.
Yeah, the power slam. Here's the power slam. Here's the power slam.
It's a big deal.
In Baltimore.
I give Ron Simmons a lot of credit for picking that man up.
Yeah. Ron Simmons was a strong man.
He was a strong man, but Vader was just a big man.
Vader went 450.
But Vader was also very athletic.
Vader went 450.
Yeah.
He was probably pushing about 330, 340 at best.
He was up there then when he was real heavy.
Yeah, and then later, especially after like he left WWF. But at that point, he could move too. One of the first big guys to do moonsaults. I'm sure he went up for Ron pretty well.
And his Vader bomb.
The Vader bomb, yeah.
And when he comes back, that in the fall of '92, that's when he starts injuring people. Though that's when he ends Nikita Koloff's career. That's when he
starts kind of shooting on people.
Yeah, breaks Joe Thurman's back, which he was really I've heard upset about afterward. But he just crushed him on a power bomb, and he was paralyzed momentarily.
He used to punch people like legit in the face.
He just box their ears.
Yeah.
And in 1992, as that came to an end, he does beat Simmons for the world title, and he was WCW champion for almost all of '93. He was Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Wrestler of the Year that year. He had big feuds with Sting. Sting actually did win the title from him for a little bit in a European tour. He wrestled Davey Boy Smith for that little bit of time that the Bulldog was in WCW in '93.
White Castle of Fear.
The White Castle of Fear strap match with the evil midget Cheatham. And then he did the thing with Cactus Jack where he power bombed him on the outside, and
he lost his memory.
Yeah, he was lost in Cleveland. He had amnesia. They did the spin the wheel, make the deal match. And he teamed with...
Spin the wheel, make the deal was probably one of their best concepts.
It was a fun concept.
I would say AEW Cody's going to do that.
Probably.
When they get Halloween Havoc.
Coal Miner's glove match.
Well, I think the rumor is that time they didn't gimmick the wheel, so that just came up. It was a shoot.
What we do?
So in that summer of '93, he has a heel team with Sid Vicious. This is WCW.
Masters of the Power Bomb.
And the whole idea with that is that Sid's going to turn babyface at the end, and he's going to beat Vader for the title at Starrcade. But then Sid and Arn get in their scissor fight in England, and Sid's gone. So they turn to whoever they turn with when they're in trouble in WCW.
A scissor fight? Like he stabbed him with a pair of scissors?
Yeah.
He stabbed him with a pair of scissors, yeah.
Wait, in a hotel,
Vader stabbed Sid? With
No. Sid and Arn Anderson. Sid stabbed Arn Anderson with scissors.
I forget who stabbed who first. But both were fighting, and then Vader came and broke it up, and somebody else. And
I think, because I think there's a story where like Sid goes down to the bar like pale as a ghost because he's bleeding out, and he sits next to Steve Austin. And he's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" But yeah, they
just went over and on.
Was Sid legit like not right in the head?
Yes,
a little crazy. Yeah, that's why I would skip for softball instead of wrestling. Like WrestleMania, I'll go play softball, but. I think it was Eric Bischoff's podcast. They just went over that.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, when Vader was hurting people, did they put it in the storyline to make it seem more?
They would. But I mean, he beat the shit out of jobbers. He just.
I think they just had to work it in there because they had no clue what was going on at the time, and the best way to do it is just to write it in and here's what we're gonna call it.
Like when he paralyzed the guy, we're like, he's so strong, he actually paralyzed this guy.
Well, I don't know if they ever went that far.
Yeah, I don't think they went that far, but.
Paul Orndorff apparently knocked Vader out, like in a backstage confrontation. Cause
we're getting there. Yeah.
Then they turned to Sting again.
Vader loses the Flair, and then he loses the rematch to
That's
Flair.
a very good match, too.
Oh, that Starrcade
that's a
93
really
match is
good match.
amazing.
Yeah, that's a really good match.
One of the best WCW matches ever. And so, with Flair as the champion and Hogan coming in, Vader kind of goes down the card. He feuded with the Guardian Angel, who was the big boss man.
Yeah.
Feuded with Jim Duggan.
Yeah.
And by the end of '94, he's the U.S. champion, and he does finally move into that feud with Hogan in '95. They main evented 3 pay-per-views. The last one is the cage match where they had Bash at the Beach on the beach.
Yeah.
And he loses the cage match to Hogan. And this is when Nitro is about to come in, and they decide they're going to turn Vader babyface. They actually put him in a feud with Arn and Ric Flair. He beat them in a handicap match.
Yeah, both of them.
And then they were starting to build up a War Games where it was going to be the Dungeon of Doom, which is a new heel stable, Kevin Sullivan and Kamala and the Shark,
Yeah.
and all these goofy things.
The man with no name.
No, Zodiac. He was a Zodiac.
Yeah, that's right. Zodiac.
And
Now I remember why I didn't watch WCW.
Oz was in there, wasn't he?
No, Oz was way before this.
Yeah.
With
He
Dungeon
was
of
like-
the Giant came out of there.
Yeah, Giant was from the Dungeon of Doom, yeah. And so Vader was supposed to be on the babyface team against the Dungeon of Doom, and it was supposed to be Vader, Savage, Sting, and Hogan. And this is when he gets in a fight backstage with Paul Orndorff. Paul Orndorff knocks him out
Yeah.
with his
Tough.
shower
Wearing
shoes
flip-flop-
on.
Yeah, flip up the
Yeah.
shower shoes, something. Yeah.
And Vader was just, they said he went AWOL on TV. And luckily, at this time, Lex Luger came in, so they just slid Lex Luger into that team.
Yeah.
And Vader disappears for a while. He actually did, his first match back after that was in Japan at the annual January 4th Tokyo Dome show. He lost to Inoki. And then he signs with WWF.
Was it Vader or Bam Bam Bigelow that ripped Mick Foley's ear off?
Vader.
There was a match in
He didn't rip it off.
The ropes cut it off, and then
he
Vader
got caught up in the barbed wire.
Vader.
No, there was no barbed wire. It was actually the rope.
It was
Oh.
rope. He did the hangman spot,
Yeah.
and the ropes were too tight. And then when Mick slipped out, his ear was pretty much not on, but it was hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
And then they locked up, and he grabbed Mick by his hair. And when he grabbed him by his hair, he pretty much tore the rest of it off. And Vader went, "Here's your fucking ear."
Yeah, according to Foley's book, it was a show in Germany, and they used elevator cable for the ring ropes. It was very sturdy
God.
material.
There's no flex to those either.
Yeah.
and
Jesus.
it was the ropes were a little loose at first, and one of the people that went on before him was Too Cold Scorpio, and Scorpio complained that the ropes were too loose, so they tightened them up super
yeah.
tight. And then he just got caught, and they got caught in his ear and just loosened it enough. They just
The rep put it in
came
his
right off.
pocket.
Yeah, not that they couldn't save it. I mean,
Let me get that lint off your ear.
And then once he signed with and also in WCW, that's when he first started doing Boy Meets World. Boy
Yes, yes. His appearance as Leslie.
Leslie.
Challenging Mr. Feeney to a Texas death match. Loser leaves town.
His son.
Frankie the Enforcer.
Frankie the Enforcer.
Yeah, his Frankie the Enforcer was his son.
And then there was Corey Matthews.
Oh God.
What do you want for your yearbook quote?
So then Vader was quickly paired in WWF with heel manager Jim Cornette, who was the main heel manager at the time.
Good pairing.
yeah, it was.
He kind of replaced Yokozuna as the big heavy for Camp Cornette.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, that's crazy.
And then they turned Yokozuna face, and all of a sudden he can speak English now.
Yeah.
And
Oh, by the way, I'm Samoan. That's like,
yeah, I'm not Japanese after all.
Banzai.
I'm a Samoan baby.
Blame Fuji. Didn't let me talk.
So he beats Yokozuna. He beats Razor Ramon, who's leaving. That was actually one of the last matches Razor did. And he gets a win over Shawn Michaels in they did a main event 6-man tag in one of the In Your Houses, where Vader, Owen the Bulldog beat Sid, Ahmed Johnson, and Michaels. And that sets up Vader and Shawn Michaels.
And Ahmed Johnson was getting pushed to the moon.
Yeah.
he
Looked great.
They totally
looked great.
That was one of those things where they gave away the finish. They did this old territory thing where Jim Cornette went on. He's like, if my team doesn't win this main event, I'm going to give everybody who ordered the pay-per-view their money back.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I wonder who's going to win that.
Yeah.
So, SummerSlam 96, the main event is Shawn Michaels and Vader. Michaels wins. The match was well received, but Michaels did not like working with Vader.
Yeah.
There was a stiffness thing. There's an actual spot in the match where Shawn's supposed to come off the top with his elbow, but Vader was out of position. So he jumps off, lands on his feet, slaps Vader and yells at him. And apparently Vader was
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to Vader.
well, Vader didn't want to lose a spot too,
Yeah.
so Vader kind of
held his tongue. Yeah,
he held his
go
tongue with
after
it.
Shawn.
And Sean said he smelled too.
Yeah.
Well, they always said Vader's gear. There's a story, I forget where I read it.
Yeah.
I'm not losing my fucking belt to that big stinky prick.
Yeah.
I think there was a thing where Harley had to make him go in the shower with a taser or something.
God damn it. Vader. God damn it.
You better get in there and wash your ass, boy.
Wash your gear, you son of a bitch.
I mean, I don't get it. They go to hotels almost every night. I'm pretty sure they have in-house laundry.
He didn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's just
He didn't care. Yeah, that was all just.
So the rumor is that Michaels didn't like Vader enough. He had so much clout at this time because this is the height of the clique. That, well, not, it's a little after the height because Nash and all those guys are gone, but that's why they scrapped Vader winning the title. I think we talked about this a little last week.
And Sid won it.
Sid wins it. Yeah.
Sid wins it, yeah.
Sean Kibosh pretty much.
And he wins it at a pay-per-view called It's Time.
That was the one after that. Yeah, he won the Survivor Series, and
They
then
thought it would be
yeah,
Vader,
It's
yeah.
Time. The main event was Sid and Bret Hart.
Yeah.
And so and then Vader actually had a shoulder injury too, which might have been a factor because he was out for a little bit around that time. But he comes back in '97. At this point, Cornette is now more of an announcer. He's not managing as much, and he's writing too. And Paul Bearer managed Vader for a little bit, and he actually beats the Undertaker kind of clean.
And they put Mankind with him. Wait, we forgot when he came in.
I never knew that Paul Bearer managed Vader.
Yeah.
for a little bit, yeah,
for a little bit,
'97.
yeah.
And they were like, two from hell. But when he first came in, he beat the shit out of Gorilla Monsoon.
Yeah, because Monsoon was the commissioner.
Yeah.
And he roughed up Monsoon. He
That was his debut.
like Michaels eliminated him in the Royal Rumble. That was his first match, and then he comes back in and throws out Michaels, but because they play with the Royal Rumble logic, that doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count. Yeah, but now it does. Like,
Yeah, now it would count.
yeah.
And so
didn't Monstro eliminate himself in a Royal
Yes.
Rumble?
yeah,
Yeah.
he went after Jake Roberts and like jumped over the top, and then they said that didn't count because he was supposed to be the last guy eliminated in that match.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be him and Yoko at the end.
He forgot. Oh.
Someone else did that too. Where they
Mil
jumped-
Mascaris.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of the wrong
And the
one.
only Rumble that Mil Mascaris was ever in, he eliminated himself and
He
jumped
jumped-
over the,
because
over the top.
Kind of like when
He won
Andrade
two
did.
jobs.
Yeah.
Well, they did that because he wouldn't
yeah.
let anybody throw him out.
No, yeah.
No, yeah.
No, yeah.
Hey, you're a legend. Jump over the rope.
So the last kind of big match he had was right after beating Undertaker at the Rumble. They had that Final Four match after Shawn Michaels lost his smile.
Yeah.
And it was Vader, Austin, Undertaker, and Bret.
I love that match. That match was
It's a
one of
really
my
good
childhood favorite matches. I love that match.
And Bret wins that match and then loses the title to Sid like right
That
afterwards.
match was so confusing because it was a 4-way, but the first two guys had to get eliminated by getting thrown over the top rope, and then it came down to a 1-on-1 match, and then whoever won with the champion. It made no sense. It was super complicated.
It's like when Flair won the championship on a Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
It's nothing wrong. So
So
did Triple H.
Triple-
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that's actually cool. I thought that was really
That was the
neat
best
idea.
Royal Rumble ever, the one in
Yeah.
92.
Yeah.
And that was the one, I had it wrong earlier. That was the one where Savage eliminated himself, was
Yep.
the one in 92.
And then there was a one where Savage elbow dropped Yokozuna.
That was what I'm thinking of. He tried to pin him, and Yoko kicked out, and that was the
Yeah,
elimination.
through him. Yep.
Yeah.
Savage never got the Royal, and then one time he didn't even show up
Yeah.
because he was scared of the Warrior. Savage never did well in the Rumbles. and then after the Final Four match, Vader is pushed way down the card.
Yeah.
That next one is what we were talking about earlier, where
It's like, you're fat. Well, he was fat when he came.
Yeah.
It's like...
yeah, and they actually right after that WrestleMania where he teamed with Mankind against Owen and Bulldog, he lost to Ken Shamrock in Shamrock's first match. And I think they put Vader with Shamrock. Just be like, okay, you're going to be stiff getting there with Ken
Yeah,
Shamrock.
yeah.
And it's funny because those two were both in the live-action Fist of the North Star movie.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, Vader and Ken Shamrock were both in that.
Vader also had an angle for a while with Kane.
That came later. Yeah, there was that was where he
Right at the end.
was right at the end where he did a mask versus mask match,
Yeah,
and
it's like...
Which is so stupid.
yeah,
That was
Vader
so dumb.
loses his mask, and then that's when he did
And he got beat with a hammer in the face.
he got hit with a wrench. Yeah,
The wrench, yeah.
Like, I'm a big fat piece of shit.
Maybe time's not over. I mean,
was
it's
a-
over.
And I think he quit shortly after that. I think he came back once and I remember him losing like Mark Marrow or somebody like that.
Yeah.
God.
And then he was out the door.
And
Oh, God,
the other
Mark Marrow.
the other big thing that happened around the time was when he was detained in Kuwait because
yeah.
they had a thing where it was like Good Morning Kuwait, and it was Vader and Vader and Undertaker with this journalist, and they did the whole is wrestling fake thing. And Vader gets up and like trying to like grabs the reporter by the neck and like tries to like threaten him, and they didn't let him leave. They didn't let him leave Kuwait for like a few
and a
weeks
half,
or like a
yeah.
week and a half.
Wasn't
Yeah,
there an interview with Taker and Vader, and they're like asking if wrestling is that the same one?
yeah, it's the same
Yeah,
one.
same one.
And Undertaker's just sitting there like,
Yeah, I just want to get out of here.
yeah,
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
I would not screw around in another country, dude.
so then in 1998, Vader negotiates his release with WWF, and he goes back to Japan. Had a pretty successful run. He was in All Japan for a little bit, teamed with Hansen of all people, as Hansen was winding down. And then he was one of the guys when they made Pro Wrestling Noah, when all these people jumped from All Japan after Baba died.
Yeah.
He was part of Noah. Him and Too Cold Scorpio. Speaking of WWF and WCW cast-offs. They were the first ever Noah Tag Team Champions. But that run didn't last long. Age and injuries was all catching up to Vader. He was born in 55, so at this point he's getting up there. And he was semi-retired by 2001. He did a few things with TNA. I think he did a thing with Dusty even.
Yeah, spots.
Yeah.
Spots.
The weekly pay-per-view was TNA.
And then he came back in 2005 when they were doing a thing with Coachman, where it was supposed to be like Austin against Coachman.
Yeah.
And then Austin didn't want to lose, so it wound up being Batista against Coachman. But it was going to be Coachman, Vader, and Goldust. Yeah. And that was when he jumped off the ring apron as he was exiting, and he jumped off and just fell on his ass.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
bad.
And then he comes back one more time. His last match in WWF was when Heath Slater, going up to Raw 1000, was listening to all those legends. He's like, "It's Slater time!"
Yeah, and Vader looked pretty good there.
Yeah, he did.
It looked good for all of 3 minutes the match went on.
He lost weight, but that's all I had.
Yeah, it needed to be a big thing. And then he famously criticizes on Twitter the Will Ospreay Ricochet match, saying it just looked too staged and everything. And he gets in this back and forth with Will Ospreay on social media, and it leads to Will Ospreay versus Vader in 2016 in Rev Pro. Vader wins because I think he didn't want a job for it, right? And that was his last major match. His final match ever is in May 25th, 2017, in a show called Wrestle Jam. He beats somebody called the Iron Man, and that's his last match.
He wrestled. He knew he was dying and was still wrestling.
Yeah. And his son wrestled for a little bit too, Jesse White. His son also played football. He was a center, just like his dad. He went to Oklahoma and never made it to the NFL, but he was a football player. He was in WWE developmental, kind of half in FCW, half in the early days of NXT. That NXT, he was under the name Jay Carter. Actually dated JoJo.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
did you ever see Vader's son's tattoo that he has of Vader on his shoulder? Oh, it's sick. No, it's sick. It's let me pull it up, actually. It's really cool looking.
And like you were saying, he did know he was sick. In November 2016, he revealed that doctors told him he had congestive heart failure and he only had 2 years to live. But then a little bit later, in early 2017, he was on a podcast saying he got better medical news and things were looking better. But
I still think he was lying there. I think he was just playing it up.
And if you look, it was about 2 years later. It was May of last year to May of 2018. He came down with pneumonia. He was in the hospital for a month, and then he did die June 18th of last year at the age of 63.
Now,
and then he gets to put him in the Hall of Fame.
Now, that's my question.
When he was alive.
So, looking back at his career now and actually going through that and hearing more of that, does WWE not put him in the Hall of Fame because of his run with WWE?
WWE needs to put him in the Hall of Fame because of what he did for professional wrestling for the 20 years he was in.
I agree.
Yeah, his WWE run was not that good, but you know how they started putting people in from...
Now, here's the thing. You bring that guy in your Hall of Fame, you're bringing a guy in who's literally almost entire WWE run kind of a joke.
They brought in Inoki, and Inoki was never really in
Sting,
WWE.
At that point, Sting didn't do anything.
But Sting, they are out. I mean, they can use his WCW file, but most of Vader's accomplishments were in Japan.
No, WCW.
You can. There's Vern Gagne never even wrestled in WWE. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
If he did, it was just 1 or 2 Madison Square Garden shows.
That's really cool.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah.
Damn.
So I don't. That's the only thing. That's the only way I can maybe play devil's advocate there.
I can't.
But I think he deserves to be in there.
There are guys in the Hall of Fame that were, and it's no disrespect to them, but they were underneath guys. They were enhancement guys. Johnny Rods.
Coco.
He was a
Coco.
Coco was an opening match guy.
Junkyard Dog.
What's his name?
Well,
Hillbilly Jim's in the fucking Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's when they started stretching for people.
Bullshit.
I mean, they have a celebrity wing for the Hall of Fame, for Christ's sakes. Trump's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But no,
I agree he should be in there, but that's the only thing I could think of why they're holding him back, but that doesn't make sense to me either.
I think it was one of those things because they don't like to put a lot of
Big
posthumous
names.
people in. They don't like to put too many dead people in 1 year, and they probably didn't think, oh, Vader doesn't have a lot of time left. Even when he said it, they probably thought, nah, he'll be around for a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get him next year.
Yeah.
We'll get him the year.
And I think they're like, oh fuck, he actually died. We can't put him in this year because we look like assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he goes in this year.
I think with the next 2 years he's in.
Yeah.
Plus, a lot of the old guys, you're kind of limited on who you put in. A lot of them have that concussion lawsuit, so they're not going to put that.
Yeah, that's
this
true.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that's a great spotlight, man. Vader, if you want to talk about guys, like, obviously there's people that it's like me. Like I said, I'm a wrestling fan I was a WWE fanboy. That's all I watched. I didn't care about anything else. I didn't give a shit anything else existed. I was WWE through and through. And then a guy like Vader came in and I was like,
This guy, yeah.
He was the first heel that made me root for the heels.
yeah, and I was like, it doesn't do it for me. You know what I mean? Because then at that time too, you have to realize my favorite wrestlers were like Mr. Perfect, Piper, Sean, like not the bigger guys.
Yeah.
Like when they bring a giant, and I'm like, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? So Vader didn't do it much for me, but then as I got older and I researched what he's accomplished in other promotions, you're like, man, this dude did a lot for professional wrestling.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, so that's why I think the spotlight's good, especially if we have people that listen that are younger fans.
Like I said, it shouldn't matter if it was WWE.
I
He did
agree.
enough for professional
I
wrestling
agree.
to garner that spot.
I agree.
And if you want a real something to wrestle with, did a real long
They did.
episode about Vader.
Cool. So
you went the ins and outs. And
yeah,
the
if you want to know more, obviously go check out that podcast.
And I think Vader himself was on Austin's podcast. Like, I don't know if it's still around. It might be like behind a paywall now or something. But
Yeah, so check that out. Austin's podcast or the Something to Wrestle With. Something to Wrestle With is just an overall great podcast. 83 Weeks is a great podcast.
I like them all.
Yeah.
Arn Anderson's going to start soon. That's probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called.
What's the one where
The Orange Show, I
what
think
really
is ours.
happened?
What happened when with Tony?
that's the
happened
Pritchard
when-
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, what happened with Shivani?
Shibani, yeah. There's a lot of good stuff out there to check out. You can also check out Call of the Power
You
Rangers.
can,
Or
yeah.
check out Murder My Dude.
Yeah, we do a lot of wrestling.
They're
shows.
good. They're good podcasts. Yeah, Murder My Dude did
The links are located below.
did a murder podcast on wrestling murders.
We did two.
You did Brody, I assume.
We did the first one was Brody, Benoit, and Snuka, and then we did one about more indie wrestling, Rock and Rebel, and
Dude, I'm so
people.
crazy that when he just said Benoit, I was like, wait, are we on the conspiracy that like Benoit didn't, like somebody killed Benoit? But I'm like, oh no, he killed his daughter, his kid, and I like blew my mind. I forgot.
That's an interesting conspiracy.
Yeah.
it was Kevin Sullivan.
It's Calvin Sullivan, the devil worshiper.
Yeah, he's so evil.
All right. Well, we actually made a really good time there.
Wow.
All right. Well, who's you picked, right? You picked Jushin.
I think the only
picked
person at the
Jushin.
table that didn't pick Andy, you haven't picked
I
yet.
know, I was-
Oh no, you picked
I-
Okada,
I-
yeah.
I was-
I'll let you
Tony and Tyler.
Okay. Let's do Jericho. Let's do
You want to do Jericho?
Yeah.
All right. So you got to do some research.
Okay.
I have my.
We'd have to, if we're doing Jericho, we have to start the show right at his, just to get through all his accomplishments.
Yeah.
Well, if we're doing Jericho next week, you know what we have to have next week?
the bubbly.
The bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly.
We are gonna have the
It's
bubbly.
so over.
And Andy,
It's insane how over
$7 at your local liquor store.
Andy doesn't drink, so we'll have
Sparkling
sparkling
juice.
cider the bubbly.
My mom got sparkling blueberry one time. It was fantastic.
Well, if you could find it, grab
the
it.
Giant, yeah.
If anyone can find the bubbly, grab
Dirty
it.
Giant.
Oh, they have those clear splashes. They're good. You can get
Oh,
like
yeah.
raspberry.
Yeah.
I'll
They're
stop at the
pretty
liquor
good,
store. It's
yeah.
only $7.99 for a
They're
bottle
not
of the bubbly.
sparkling.
Well, I can pick one of my 13 Jericho shirts.
Yeah. You know, I don't have any. I don't think.
Really?
I have the
Neither do
box
I,
of
which is
Jericho.
embarrassing because I was like a big Jericho fan. For
I have
years.
I know
the-
that's me too, and I don't even have any Jericho.
We just have to get a white T-shirt and just write Jericho Personal
Yeah.
Security or
Yeah,
Jericho
yeah,
Holic Ninja.
Ralphus.
I have.
Raw is Jericho.
I have the Raw is Jericho. I have the WCW is Jericho. I have the AEW is Jericho. I have the
LIJ one.
I have two of his Japan
The
ones.
painkiller one.
Yeah, I have the painkiller one. I have his Judas one. I have a bunch.
See, the Judas one I was gonna get to. I should have got that one.
Now you just have to get the bit of the bubbly shirt.
I have a Fozzy shirt. That counts.
I don't have. I have to get his Painmaker shirt. I don't have a Painmaker.
I just saw a spoof thing earlier. They played a music video over it, and every single time.
Mambo number 5, I know they did with the bubbly
They did
thing.
let the bodies hit the floor.
That's
the
it.
Bubbly hit the
That's
floor.
it. Let the bubbly hit the floor.
I've seen a bunch of them.
Yeah, he's fucking phenomenal.
He's gonna make $1 million off that one thing, that throwaway line.
yeah,
that
'cause
just
he's
caught
fucking.
fire.
He's a genius.
That's the
Genius,
thing with wrestling, though. You never
Yeah,
know what's going
yeah.
to click. Like that Austin 316 line. It's a promo just
You
because
smell
Jake
what the
Roberts
Rock is cooking.
Yeah. Well, the Rock
Like
had
if
a
he
million.
keeps up, man, like he honestly has a real claim at the GOAT. Like he really
Yeah.
does. He's accomplished so much, and he's still so popular. Like it's
He's a flair guy. Oh, he's a flair guy over here.
As far
All world titles aside, if you had to pick your pick for the greatest of all time in the last 50 years,
Jericho's got to be up there.
just got to be up
Yeah.
there.
Ric Flair for me.
Because you got to think how many people like have retired and he's still wrestling. You know?
Yeah.
I think
Now-
Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels is in.
I'm not
Yeah.
arguing.
people are going to make that argument for Hogan.
I'm not arguing Ric Flair at all.
Yeah.
At all. So I don't. I'm not upset with it. Hogan. I don't even think Hogan's in the top 100. To me,
No,
It
I
depends
love
on
how
what you're
people make
talking
the
about.
argument for John Cena too. Oh, he has 16 world championships.
It depends on what you're talking about. Like, there's so many different ways to cut it out. You can say like, kayfabe stuff or like,
Successful?
because
That's
Hogan.
much, successful is much different than in ring. You know?
Like, who was the biggest star ever in wrestling?
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan.
Hogan and then Austin.
Yeah.
You know?
Eee.
Hogan. No, it's Hogan.
Who
It's
would you
absolutely
say
Hogan.
is higher bigger than them two? The Rock?
The Rock.
Well, they beat.
Well, The Rock was a bigger star outside of wrestling.
Yeah, outside of
I think
wrestling.
in and out of wrestling.
No, because he never sold like Austin sold. Austin had sold Rock.
Austin was
The only
Rock
thing that
was
Rock
into
sold
that.
better than anybody was the damn stunner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear the story that Austin and Rock would bet cases of beer?
For how good he could sell a stunner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I know. Going back to another one of the things in Mick Foley's books, he and Owen Hart would have these matches when Austin had his neck injury, where it was Dude Love against Owen Hart, and their entire goal in these matches was to make Steve Austin laugh at ringside.
Dude, Austin's show is really good.
Yeah.
I love that show.
His brand new show on TV
yeah,
is really
yeah,
good.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
I can't believe
TV
Becky
show.
Lynch stunned him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
I said that's the only part I've seen for that show. I'd like to watch it though.
It's
His
really
podcast is back.
I didn't know.
though.
I didn't know Becky was vegan. That's like one of the
Really?
things. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Because they go to a food truck and he's getting like vegan stuff.
Here's one thing I did like about the Becky Lynch episode. Everyone says, "Well, what do you think Becky's at the end of the day her pinnacle moment was?" And everyone would say that WrestleMania when she held up 2 titles, and she goes, "No, the day Nia." I said on this podcast, I said I think when it all said and done, Becky Lynch had a rocket strapped to her ass and sent with the night Nia Jax broke her face.
Yeah, it was a godsend actually because it took her a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, she looked like such a badass after
Yeah.
it was over. It's like, oh yeah.
So we have some time here. Raw this week. It was terrible.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That might have
Not
been
From what I
terrible.
saw.
I don't know. I can't go through everything bit by bit, but we had Bray Wyatt. We'll just start with the Bray Wyatt thing. Bray Wyatt had a really funny skit with the boss. We'll say,
Yeah, I make money.
yeah,
just-
here eat this.
The thing is,
Who
man,
are you to say that you got a title shot at Hell in a Cell? Well, I did make a lot of this over the last couple weeks.
Which is funny because his relation, Barry Windham, Kendall Windham and his dad, the Blackjack, got busted for doing counterfeit money back in like 1989.
Yeah.
Which kept Barry Windham from getting his push that he's going to go against Hogan.
Yep.
I just don't know what it's way too soon to push him. There's no right answer now. Like
Yeah.
we had put the belt on him, which seems too soon.
I think
You can't make him
someone's
And
gonna.
you can't have him go to Hell in a Cell and lose because that'll
No.
be like, okay,
Well,
defeat
he
the
can't
pussy.
lose.
I think someone else is going to distract him from this match.
Plus, he keeps saying
Oh, that you might be onto something.
he challenges.
Might hear a knock on the door,
Yeah.
maybe.
No.
No. He challenges the winner, but he doesn't challenge for the title.
No, I think he
So-
challenges for the title, and I think a demon shows up in Hell in a Cell. Because that's around the time Finn's supposed to be back. Yeah, I think you're onto something
I think
there.
I think he gets
And he rips the
distracted.
door off like Kane. That's got
His-
That's gotta be the demon.
If it's a Hell in the Cell match and they
There's 2
have
months
some
off to get
stupid
married and
ending
it's
like
honeymoon.
last year's, I'm gonna be so mad because last year's ending of Hell in the Cell was so stupid. When the match ended because Brock ripped the door off and Braun and Roman couldn't continue. It's a Hell in the Cell match. What do you mean continue? Somebody pins somebody.
Yeah.
Wait,
Made no
isn't that
sense.
when Braun or Roman's feet hit the floor and
That was a
his hands or something. Yeah, I remember that. What are you talking about?
that was in Saudi Arabia. That was Crown Jewel.
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's
the cage
when
match,
His
yeah.
spear through the thing. Yeah.
his feet hit the floor and like, oh
Yeah.
no, Brock's the winner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was so stupid. That was so bad.
But trying to think just match wise, King of the Ring, we had
There was Baron Corbin versus Cedric Alexander, which was
Very good match.
The
That
best
match
Baron
is
Corbin
the best
match,
match all night.
maybe ever.
I don't mind Corbin.
I think
still hate
second
him.
best Baron Corbin match, or I think the Joe match at one of the early NXT takeovers.
okay.
was
Oh,
really
then
good.
we had a double
I don't
disqualification, so now it's going to be a triple threat match with Ricochet, Joe, and Corbin.
I don't like that.
so dumb.
No, that ending was
there's a
terrible.
lot of precedent. No, I'm fine with the finish of the match, but there's so much precedent in tournaments where if there's a double DQ, they're both out.
They're both
Yeah.
out.
and it's Baron Corbin gets a bye, and then you have like
What
that's
confused me is a referee made that call.
And he was too sassy.
A ref- a ref-
Well, he said it
Well,
came
let
from
me
upstairs
tell
from the
you.
headset.
oh, my son's a former
Yeah.
tag team champion. Look
Yeah.
at me.
Yeah, it made no sense. It was
that?
a really bad call.
John Cohn, the referee, his son is Nicholas.
Yeah.
Oh,
That ref there, yeah.
Oh.
his son
Dave
is Nicholas.
Meltzer said on his recap thing that he does, the reason that WWE did it is because they want to try to really stack against Ricochet on TV. Like he's not saying that he's going to win. He doesn't know. He says
Yeah.
no inside
Yeah.
information who's going to win.
only
But it
thing-
makes it look better for Ricochet to face two
I-
monsters at Madison Square Garden.
I
It's a big
felt
thing.
like they were trying to be topical by really putting the ref in that because football season's coming up and you're going to have the refs like making...
Yeah.
the only thing that came to mind when I saw that was like insert sarcastic gasp cloud here.
Yeah. Now, then we had the end of the show. Unless there's anything else in there that we can that's nothing for me really.
No.
I watched it today.
No.
and-
Oh, actually, there was a match. Was it Smack? I think it might have been SmackDown though, or was it Raw? The Lacey Evans match.
That was on Raw.
That was
It
Raw,
her and-
yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Hell yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I honestly,
I didn't. They edited that out of Hulu World.
it was a great match.
It was fine, but I didn't like how she got distracted by her throwing the thing in her face, like the little paper
Well,
thing.
yeah.
And then she hit her with a finisher. Like, well, why would that distract you?
Yeah.
You know?
Unless you
She-
throw it and immediately do it.
Yeah,
She's
right.
like, oh,
That's kind of what she did. But
Yeah, that's
she-
kinda what it was,
She
yeah.
crushed her with it.
really.
Dude, so here's the thing: Lacey Evans one busted open.
Yeah.
If you really want to get some insight on Lacey Evans, Bubba even said to her, he goes, "But Lacey, you play the most despicable, evil, vile woman on television." He goes, "But outside the ring, you are one of the most inspirational people I've ever heard of in my life." He's like, she's a Marine. Like her whole backstory, her whole family was struggling with drug addiction, and she joined the military to get away from that, and came back, and her family like just insanely crazy stories that this woman went through, and now she's doing like this TV show where she's like helping families that are like veterans, less fortunate veterans, pretty much like remodel their houses and try to help their lives out. And she was like, "Thank you very much," but then she like went right back to character. She was, "Thank you so much, Bubba, but don't ever call me a vile, despicable woman." I'm the like she's a PG version of MJF as a female. Even when you go see her at autograph signings, she'll go like this and quick, like she stays in character, like, which is crazy because she's like, the best way Bubba described it, and he didn't say it until she was off the phone, but he says, "I guarantee she will be the next Sergeant Slaughter." Sergeant Slaughter came in as a heel and everyone hated him, but then the second they're like, "Holy shit, this guy's legit a Marine," and you could really get behind him and really push for him as like an American hero, she can be that next person.
So what are you saying? She's gonna start doing the Cobra Clutch next?
She can if she gets better in the ring.
Yeah.
Which she probably will.
Yeah.
I would say.
But yeah, so it was a really good interview. But I enjoyed the Lacey Evans match. But anyway, so stick with the women's theme here. The very end of the night was the champions versus champions match. So it was a 2 world champions versus
Bayley
tag
and Becky
team.
versus Nikki and Alexa Bliss.
And Sasha Banks with a full bodysuit gear. I hope that's not real for the whole time. I hope that's not.
I think that was just her.
That was just her wardrobe.
She
for the
dresses
night,
like
yeah.
a drag queen when she's like. Not
Yeah,
wrestling.
she actually wore blue and gold.
She did. That was was that wrong?
Yeah,
Oh no, it was SmackDown.
SmackDown. They came out with both blue and
Yeah,
gold
they had
gear.
a matching gear.
I don't want to say that I knew. I don't want to pull a Dave and say I told you so type deal. But when Bayley kept coming out the past couple months, Bayley has been slowly doing some stuff that's very heelish. She's been called out as being a heel by certain wrestlers like Alexa Bliss, and then she kind of kept deflecting as if she's not. She pushed Charlotte Flair. Like she's been doing stuff that the hugger Bayley would have never done. Just like certain things that she would have never done or called people out.
She's not coming out anymore. She's not giving out the wristbands or the head. The head.
And it's a small
Headbands.
psychological thing for me, and maybe I'm completely overlooking it. But even up leading to her winning her title, her jacket she's been coming out to has been the Madness style jacket.
Yeah.
It's been the black jacket with the Bayley in the Madness font, and she's been rocking that for a couple months now. Since Sasha has left, she's been wearing that Madness jacket. So I think she's like, okay, I'm the female Savage, but now I'm starting to throw maybe some hints out that I'm going to start maybe being the heel here. And then she finally, she comes out, she takes the chair off of Lynch, she gives that smile, and then she just lays into Becky, which is crazy because Becky has been very pro by the fans. People wanted that Bayley push so hard.
That was some of the worst chair shots I've ever seen. Bayley does not know how to. I mean, she doesn't have no experience doing it, but
she was trying to really be careful because the week before, Banks laid in her head a couple times. And
Plus, it was at that point it was like number 12.
Not to
or something.
mention the pop it got kind of sounded like when Becky flipped.
Yeah, that's not my problem. It's like, oh, you're back, yay!
Yeah, and then she came out the next week's like, I'm doing, unless they're slow building it, like I'm still a role model for your kids, like. Unless they're slow building it, but she should have came out and been like,
I always wanted
fuck the kids.
She should have went full blown.
I don't think they should have turned her yet, but I always had an idea for bad.
Well, here's what the thing is: they had to because the next pay per view is in Charlotte. It's in North Carolina, and they're Flair country. They're gonna root for Charlotte regardless.
Yeah.
So now this kind of solves the problem where it's like, oh, well, if they're cheering for Charlotte, it's because all the stuff they did to her.
The only thing I am worried about with this Bayley turn is Bayley loses the belt to Charlotte, and then heel Bailey gets wasted on being Sasha Banks' roadie.
No, well,
I don't think she's going to lose to Charlotte.
No.
I don't think.
I think Sasha's
Not
going to
yet,
build up
anyways.
Becky, though. I think they're going to do a quick turn.
I feel like because Survivor Series is around the corner, they're building to Bailey and Becky because they always do that champion
Yeah.
Raw versus SmackDown.
Can they
versus
set up
champion.
a possible new 4 horsewomen versus like a female NWO?
It'd be tough.
With Banks as like, I guess you're like your Hogan, and then Sasha Bailey as like your Macho Man, and then maybe you throw in like when Nyla comes back, she's your Muscle.
I mean, Nia.
Yeah, and then you have Charlotte.
I don't think they'll do
Charlotte Becky then joins Charlotte's team because she.
I think they're just going to keep it focused on those
Because
four.
if they want it's 4 horsemen women, they want Charlotte, Becky, Bailey, and Sasha.
I agree, but maybe they're just trying to throw a little curveball. I'm just brainstorming.
I always I want a bad Bailey to be like so over the top, like come out with a leather jacket and smoke and be like, I'm smoking.
Yeah.
And like do like things that a little kid thinks are really badass.
Yeah.
But aren't really.
I'm kind of
that'd be
glad.
so good.
I'm kind of glad they didn't do that because I love that her explanation for her turning was Sasha's my friend. I'm going to stick with Sasha, not because every person that turns heel is like, oh, I turned heel because of all of you.
Yeah,
it's like it's the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, you hate the fans
But
now.
here's my thing about that match. So it's kind of you can't really go babyface Charlotte now because you're too far into this to kind of flip her back.
And
So
the fans-
would you
fans
call
are
it
tough.
semi-heel Bailey versus full heel Charlotte?
Well, that's what I liked about Charlotte's promo on SmackDown, where she was like, "Listen, I'm like despicable and I'm bad and all this, but I'm honest about it. Like I'm not
Well, I
pretending
think
to be any
that's
better than I'm not.
I think
Like,
that
am who
might
I
be
am,
what they're doing
you
with
know?
Bailey, and I like it. Is like, no, I'm still a hugger. I'm still great, but she does just awful things. But she's still like that
Imagine her
Two-Face
walking
thing
up
where
to
like.
like an 8-year-old and she's like hug, and she's just like
Now,
Bang!
Now is she still going to come out with like the wacky inflatable arm man?
I would have her go over the top baby face, but just do awful things to people.
When Jericho came back that one time and he kept
Yeah.
shaking all his hands and everything.
yeah. I don't. It's interesting. I'm definitely intrigued. I mean, WWE I think definitely has my attention when it comes to. I honestly think the last 2 years, when it comes to storylines, the women have been getting the better storylines than the men.
Oh, I agree completely.
Match wise, we still not as
some
good
are
as they
good,
should
some-
be.
yeah.
But
Now
when
that
it-
they have those 4 horsewomen against each other, you're going to see some great matches.
Yeah,
too.
there's some good stuff there, man. And I'm interested to keep turning in. And now even if you start giving me Lacey Evans is lurking in the background and just kind of like you don't. I like how she still has a story, but she doesn't have a belt attached to her. Like that, they need to start doing that more with other characters.
And rather than the only women's stories
Yeah.
about.
Now with the King of the Ring, we'll just get into SmackDown a little bit. We there was like
Shorty G.
Shorty G, Chad Gable beat Andrade.
I hate that. Ugh.
I hated it
that
so
name.
much.
Yeah, I don't. Are they actually using it yet?
No,
or?
not yet.
No, but
Not yet.
I hope they don't.
I don't think it's gonna happen because he's getting over a lot more than what they thought he
Yeah,
would.
it's just that fiery underdog.
I just
like,
hate the whole "you're short, you're the same size as Daniel Bryan."
Yeah.
And Daniel Bryan's been a 3-time world champion.
Yeah. So here's my thing. I think a lot of people are, and this maybe I'm wrong here. This is just my opinion. If anyone has anything else, you could say it. But we're coming from a fan base, and that you read the internet where people are like, "Man, I wish they'd fucking give these other guys a chance." And Kevin Owens went out and says it and says. Hey, Kevin Owens is like, man, you should give out these guys a shot, and everyone's like, yeah, Kevin said it, and they're like, all right, here's King of the Ring, and they give you all these big names, and you're like, oh shit, we all said it. Let's Kevin's gonna win, Ricochet's gonna win, and now we can literally say there's a possibility where Chad Gable wins the King of the Ring, and people are like, nah, hate it. No, like this is you've been complaining that other wrestlers are not be giving an opportunity. Now I see your argument where you're saying, well, what's it mean for them? It realistically, the King of the Ring probably means nothing.
Probably nothing.
They
All I was
literally
saying
need-
is they could push the same storyline on SmackDown still, and doesn't
Yeah.
need to be a part of the King of the Ring at all, and still get shot over.
Yeah.
They
still
really
get
need
bullied,
to
still
figure
do all
this
that.
out. If they put him as King of the Ring, they need to have the storyline set in stone for at least 2 to 3 months after the fact and say, we're going with this and we have to stick with it.
I will be shocked if he's the king. I think I think there's only realistically 2 people that could be king
Corbin.
right now. It's going to be either Corbin or Ricochet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even Joe? You don't
No,
think?
I don't think Joe's going to win.
I think Corbin's winning it as well, but
I think it's either Corbin beating Gable, and you're building Gable as that underdog, trying to do like the Rocky thing,
Gable's
It's
getting
like a
TV
Ricochet
time.
and Elias.
or Ricochet and Elias. Which,
Yeah.
ooh,
Any
good luck,
way-
Ricochet.
Any way you look at it, man, it's you're getting TV time. Your guys are getting spots on TV. They should be getting more, but at least we're getting some stories now.
At least they're trying to use some people, but
You are the same people who are bitching that Lesnar took the title away for us for 6 months or a year or
Year and a half.
Seth has it on TV and he's a tag team champion.
yeah.
It might as well. What the fuck? That's even worse.
And after this pay-per-view, one guy might have all the belts.
Exactly. That's fucking crazy. Crazy. Like, I would personally rather going into Clash of Champions where, like, it's Kofi versus Seth. And it's tag team versus tag team. Like, the champions clash against each other.
I mean, it'd make more sense.
Yeah.
That's what they used to do with Night of Champions. Because well, that one time they had, it was Booker and whoever, I think it was Big Show was ECW champion, and whoever the that was Cyber Sunday, because they had to pick whose title was on the line.
Yeah.
They're just doing this really stupid trend now where the champion is just picking a challenger. Like, Bailey just picked Amber Moon. She's like, oh, you're the challenger. And Seth was just like, oh, Braun, you want to shot the title? Braun's like, yeah,
Like
okay,
that.
here we
Just
go.
Make it the other way. It makes more sense when people come out and challenge.
Yeah.
You know?
Build a story.
Yeah.
Go back to like that Taboo Tuesday pay-per-view. Let the fans have a little bit of say in it. Like,
Now-
actually go with the fan vote.
Now, I know we're just
The fans are dumb.
I was gonna say don't let the
no,
fans.
because the fans suck.
Because then they vote for something stupid. You might get.
No, you don't get to pick the challenger. You get to pick the match.
That's not good either.
No,
sometimes.
no, it's not. All right, now we're saying it's too early for Bray to get a title shot, but realistically, I'm over Seth Rollins. I'm over Becky Lynch.
I want Seth Rollins to lose the belt and turn heel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Seth Rollins doesn't even need to have a title around him at anywhere near him.
No.
Just put him in some storylines, let him work something else, keep him away from title hunts. Braun Strowman, you don't need him in title shots. You don't need him in title hunts. Maybe now that it is early, but maybe now's the time to put it on the Bray for a year, maybe even give him 2 years with it. Because even if he's part time where you don't see him very often, and the demon is at least only comes out at pay-per-view, it's better than having it shoved down your... That title has been shoved in our face between Roman, Lesnar, and Seth. So much in our face, like, it's here, but it's not here, but it's not here, but it's not here, and then it's here, and I'm fucking here. Hey guys, I'm here. Like, maybe if it's like, you at least builds with these cool promos, like, if he's coming, you just gotta let him in. And then he builds these cool things, and maybe he comes out as Bray Wyatt, and like, it's not there, but at least it's something fucking interesting people want to see, because what they're doing now with this whole superhero thing is just, it's played out to me anyway. I could be wrong.
I want to see Braun win it.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'd like to see him just get it once after that year and a half, 2 years he's put in. I think it'd be nice, give it to him for like a month and then take it away.
A little bit.
Only a month?
I can't see him going any further. He doesn't really need it.
I'd have Braun keep
Braun.
it.
He doesn't really need it.
I thought
Who does need it now?
Bray.
No.
Yeah.
Braun's worked his ass off for 2 years. I think Braun should at least get one title reign.
That's the problem, because if Braun beats Seth, then you're gonna just have Braun turn around and drop right to Bray. That doesn't make sense.
I don't think Bray's winning the title. I
don't think he's winning the title
I think it might be like Braun Bray or Seth Bray. And what I said, the demon kind of.
I wouldn't mind with Braun with a little while, but what scares me with Braun is I think Vince or whoever, if Vince is hopefully stepping away, a typical Vince move would be, well, Braun has the title. Who's believable enough to take the title off him? And then you get insert fucking legend here. Insert Lesnar. Insert fucking Goldberg.
I still think the plan is for Lesnar to take the belt off Kofi for SmackDown. I think Fox wants Lesnar bad.
Yeah.
They've already been in contract talks. Like, Fox is specifically negotiating with Brock Lesnar,
And
but
Ronda.
they want him to be there
Ronda will be on the show
every
She doesn't
other
wrestle.
week.
She'll be there.
Yeah.
See, I don't know how Brock's going to do that, though, because he hasn't been on a regular schedule since like 2004. If
Sure.
Fox wants him there every other week, I don't know how he's going to do it.
You could go back and watch previous episodes. I was clearly against the Lesnar thing, but I'll tell you what: when he shows up, he puts in good matches on.
No.
He sells.
People are all tired of him. They start doing the Brock party. Like, oh, we like him now.
Yeah. He sells amazingly. He sold the Daniel Bryan match was awesome, and I had no faith in that match.
Yeah, me too.
The Finn Balor match was awesome. Seth, not so much.
The AJ one was pretty good.
AJ was phenomenal.
I wish Brock would have won the title this last time, and they would have just broke the fourth wall and been like, Paul, be like, you know what? I'm booking the show. I'm booking Brock to have a match for the title. Not him be introduced in the Money in the Bank and win. He's not even in the match. How does that make sense?
Yeah.
Why doesn't everybody every year just do that? Just knock out one of the participants and be in the match.
Yeah.
All the 24/7 guys should run out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Money in the Bank really this time around.
24/7 title and the Money in the Bank briefcase. You have to climb up the ladder, open the briefcase, and take the title.
That was a nice little shot by Graves too on SmackDown when Drake pins Bo Dallas and runs away with the title. He's going to take his wife. Now he has a title. He's going to take his wife and go to take a limo to a chain restaurant.
Yeah, that was fun.
Do you think the 24/7 title's losing a little bit of steam?
Hell yeah.
No.
I think it
There's
is.
really only so much you can do with it.
No,
They need-
I still enjoy each 24/7 promo. I think it's great. I mean, you never know who it's going to be.
I think they need more social media.
Someone said that's what they should just have that just on.
Be a
That's-
social media
I,
title. That
I
would
like
make a
that
lot
it
more
takes
sense.
5-10 minutes off TV. I don't mind that.
It's time for an inanimate object to win it, like the
Yeah.
Iron Man heavy middleweight title.
Well, that's the thing. I just think it got a little bit too ridiculous. Like it's definitely fun still, but
I don't
then,
think
like,
it got ridiculous enough yet.
Maria
Young and
being
Mark
champion,
Henry's
her getting pinned at the gynecologist and all that. It's
Yeah.
like Jesus, like
That's
Mae
hilarious.
Young and Mark Henry's illegitimate son comes
The
in,
Hand.
The
shows
Hand,
up
yeah.
on a SmackDown show, rolls him up, and walks off with the title. The Hand was the champion.
But the hand has no shoulders. How do we win?
Yeah.
You have to get all the knuckles down.
So a sportscaster won, which the rule was when it initially
Rob
announced,
Stone.
it had to be a rostered or legend superstar.
Oh, right. Well, no, it's. They should make
Technically,
it,
the 24/7 title has no rules.
When it was announced the night it did it, Mick Foley said in the ring it has to be a legend or someone under WWE contract.
Too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they should break that rule because why not? If you put it on a celebrity for a little bit,
Pat McAfee.
who's Pat McAfee?
The
the
punter
kicker
for-
from
The guy who
Punter
wore
from
the
Indianapolis
shorts at WrestleMania, the announcer guy.
Yeah.
the one that Michael
I don't
Cole
remember.
gave hell.
Even though he will never work with WWE again.
because he threw a hissy fit because Michael Cole told him he looked ridiculous. He did look ridiculous.
Oh,
He looked like
I
a
don't
freak.
remember.
Yeah, but God forbid LeBron wore them
Yeah.
to the ESPYs, and
No,
Vince,
he just
Vince
said-
loved it.
Vince just Pat McAfee's like, I don't care. Yell at me. I don't care. I just don't fucking need it. You
And
need
Vince
more-
respects that guy.
Yeah.
And Vince loved it. He's like, I respect you for doing what you want to do, and I love the shorts.
Vince like you're leaving. He goes, fuck yeah, I'm leaving, cuz I don't need to fucking shit. I don't give a fuck who you are. And Vince is like, I like him.
He's got balls.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. He left Barstool because they tried to tell him some stuff. He's like,
Yep.
fuck you, Barstool. You need me more than I need you. Like,
Took his podcast, took his ball, went home, and started his own podcast up again.
yeah. So I don't really know what else to cover here. We're getting close to the end here. What do you got to plug?
I got nothing but my podcast because there's nothing going on this weekend. No shows this weekend.
No
I don't
shows this
know,
weekend?
In 2 weeks, it's probably what the PPW show.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
yeah.
and there's
3 weeks.
2 weeks from
yeah,
Saturday,
that's
21st.
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
it's a show at where's some. I don't know what it's called because the flyer seems like some crappy indie. It's like I think it's ECWF or something. Scranton.
I think next
So I gotta look on
next Friday when our show goes, or next Thursday when this is being recorded, we'll be a day behind. But next Thursday, Retro Pro Wrestling is announcing one of their next wrestlers.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm trying to maybe get him to call in.
nice. Yeah. Even if he announces it and then calls in to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't want to be exclusive.
Yeah,
I just come in and talk to us.
Next Saturday is Josh Burnett's Bloodsport 2
Okay, there you
on
go.
Oh
Fight.
yeah, that's gonna be so fun. I can't
Yeah.
wait to see who that's gonna be.
What do you got to plug?
I got nothing.
Let's see. This Saturday, I'm going down Tattered Flag, pick up some of that key lime pie sour. I don't know if you're still interested.
I can't. I don't have money, or I don't have work Saturday.
They have good food.
Yeah,
Also on Saturday is the benefit for Brandon from Crowbot's dad at Goodfellas.
I'll be there.
It is
I will
a
be there.
Dio tribute night if you're interested.
you should definitely come. You're not wrestling. Come out.
No.
Dio
Watch some
tribute
Dio.
night at Goodfellas. I want to say it's probably going to be a $10-15 cover,
15.
but
15.
Yeah,
15
15. It's for a good cause.
15,
Come on out, check
and they
it
have
out.
raffle prizes, and you can win the brand like some Steel Panther merch.
Really? That's
Yeah,
cool.
Steel Panther gave them some merch to
Oh,
raffle
that's
off
cool.
for
When
his
does that
dad.
tour
Honestly,
start?
I just want more hot sauce. I
Very
think that's the
simple.
only reason I'm
There's
going
also
to
going
show
to
up.
be stand-up comedy. Cheesefoot
Yeah.
is going to do stand-up comedy. And the thing I'm really looking forward to, Brandon, before the Dio tribute, is doing an acoustic show. I saw him play acoustic once, and he did this... Jay-Z sampled it. There's a song called Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City, one of the all-time greatest 70s soul songs. He does a great cover of that. I don't know if he's doing it on the show or not,
Yeah.
but...
Sure,
it's
if
an
you
acoustic
yell
set.
up to him, he'll do it.
I got to get
Play
some more hot
Freebird.
sauce.
Ain't no heart in the soul of the city. Like imagine you yell that.
I'm sure if you say, "Hey man, I really like when you covered that. Can you sneak it in there?" He might. He's a good guy.
Why not?
Speaking of which, Tony got his hard book cover copy of Legend of the Spaceborne Killer.
Cool stuff.
Hard
there.
book. You don't know comic terms. It's a hardcover trade.
Yeah.
Come on now.
You tell him before I do.
Yeah.
What do you got to plug?
All things wrestling, House of Glory wrestling. That's about it.
Murder, my dude.
Yeah.
As always. Yeah. It's all over social media. Podcast. It's actually facebook.com/podcast, my dude. But if you look up Murder, my dude, you'll find it. We're on
Listen,
Twitter. ProjectHumanoid.com. It's in the subheader of everything.
Their merch store just opened up as well.
Yeah, we have merch now.
Nice.
Shirts, pillows, mugs, everything.
Hats.
New episode came out this morning. No hats yet. Actually, this is a one of a kind.
Teespring does not do hats, so
Yeah.
Teespring, please do. The only thing I request,
Maybe they can. Maybe there's like a hat designer.
There's an embargo.
please do hats and what was the other thing? Oh, and like pint glasses.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only two things I want.
And just to plug what we're covering this week, it's
And pop sockets.
It's Hex Hollow, which is an old story of a person who was killed in York County, Pennsylvania, not too far from here, in the late 20s, because he was suspected of being a witch.
Oh.
So yeah,
He was suspected.
Yeah.
So he's a warlock.
warlock. Yeah,
That's interesting.
Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah.
yeah. So
You don't hear
yeah,
many of those stories.
Yeah,
No.
check it out. It's Murder My Dude. Look it up anywhere. Any podcast services, iTunes, Apple Podcasts. I keep saying iTunes.
Yeah.
Stitcher,
Well,
not Stitcher. Spotify. Anything.
Yeah,
Look
it's
up
all,
Murder
it's
My
all
Dude.
on there. Yep. It's a great show. Check it out. It's personally one of my favorites.
Honestly, before I even knew who Brian was, you were telling me about that show, how great it was. You were really praising it.
I'm a big fan of it. And then I work with Brian, and we got to talk a little bit and his wrestling knowledge. So I snatched him up for this show. So it worked out really well.
Yeah, I'm not going to do what Jericho he just did with Vader. That
Yeah.
was like, there's no way.
It's literally
No
going to
way.
take an entire show
Yeah.
to cover Jericho.
Yeah. Just a little bit of his history.
It's going to have to be a highlight reel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
certain
Highlight reel.
things. Yeah.
Get to Jeritron 5000.
The obscenely expensive.
I should bring a TV down. I don't know how I'm going to put it up there, but that'd be funny.
That would be
cardboard
funny.
one.
Yeah. Just
Somebody get a box and cut it off the front of the
Yeah.
box. We're just going to hang it here.
It's just funny. We just move the microwave and put the TV. I have a small TV, and we'll just put like a sign on it. This is Jerotron 5000. That'd be funny. But that's all we got. Like I said, check out the links below. If you want to help us grow, hit that PayPal up, or you can buy some merch. That's always great too. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We are stuck at 300 subscribers. If you hit about 1,000, YouTube pays us.
This is not Sparta. More than 300.
Yes. Or you can just go listen to the podcast. If you are listening to this audio podcast and you made it this far, go check out some other episodes. Even if you listen to the first, little spoiler alert, if you even listen to the first 30 to 40 seconds and just listen to that ad on older episodes, I get money.
Yeah.
You don't even have to listen to the whole
No,
episode.
just that ad.
Yeah.
We just want that 2 cents.
Yeah. It's 10. It's 10 cents. We're almost at. We just passed $2.50.
Nice.
Which is a lot. That's a lot of plays.
Yeah,
for
sure.
just starting, that's not bad at all.
No.
So yeah, just definitely and support other stuff. I mean, I love that you guys listen to our stuff, and I really really like that. But go check out Murder My Dude's Facebook, Call It in the Power Rings Facebook, give them a follow. Get more.
Like the page.
I asked a lot of you guys the call of action to get a little more active with social media and comment and post more things, and you guys have been. Like Tyler's been doing an amazing job on the page, putting stuff out there, and you guys have been responded really well to it. So let's get some more conversations going, so we can bring those conversations to the show and have some fun with it. If there's stuff that really gets generated conversation on social media, put it in your notes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I definitely want us to come into the show a little more prepared, like kind of have what you want to talk about news wise, so we're not just scrolling through Facebook. I just want to kind of come a little more prepared, not insanely, but just a little bit. And maybe we'll make this grow a little better, and we'll keep doing this. I'm having a good time. I like this group. I think we're doing a good job. But thank you guys so much for the support. We're going to be cutting out here, so listen to some awesome no rain checks.
I was gonna hum it, but I